That's twice I double-clicked that thing. What is going on, everybody? Technical difficulties there with the intro. What is going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy Friday evening. The weekend is here. Thank you guys for being here. I am very excited to have another Giants Roundtable. It's been months since I've been able to do one of these. I have had OGR on the channel a number of times. Welcome back, sir. Good to have you. Before we even get started, guys, I just want to tell you, OGR is like 16 subscribers away from 1,000. We are going to get in there. By the way, Anonymous, thank you so much for donating $1 to the Salvation Army, man. Really appreciate that, whoever you are. Thank you so much for the donation to the Salvation Army. Much appreciated. OGR, all the links to these channels are in the description. Let's get OGR to 1,000 subscribers tonight. This man works his ass off. Let's get him there so he gets the community notes. Seriously, it's like 16 subscribers. I know we can get him over 1,000 right now. So let's do that right now. Awthentik will be there soon. He's at 750 or somewhere in that area. So let's get him closer to 1,000. And Lauren is closing in on 8,000. So let's get her close at 8,000. Like I said, all the links to these fine content creators in the description. Make sure you sub them up. Make sure you ring the bell so you know when they make a video. Because as you guys have seen, YouTube does not do me any favors with my notifications. They don't like that. Maybe that's because people haven't rung that bell. So make sure you do that. That's very important. All right, ladies first. Lauren, it's an honor to have you on the channel. We've been trying to work together for quite a while, so I'm glad you're here. Tell us about your channel. Tell them where to find you, and let them know what's up.
So first off, thanks for having me. This should be a fun night. You can find my channel. It's at She Got Sports. Football content. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan, so you get Giants reactions every week. Sometimes they're pretty sad, but it's okay. It's a happy one last week, so that makes it worth it. So yeah, just NFL content, Giants content, some basketball content. I'm a Knicks fan too, so it's like a lot of just like sad fan content.
Yes.
And you can follow me on Twitter at It's Lauren Russ, because that's like the instant reaction.
There you go.
Like when there's an interception, just like a tweet of no with like 6 O's. So.
Which you've had quite a bit this year. You're a Yankee fan, though. At least we got that going for us.
Yeah, I gotta mention, like, I'm a Yankee fan, so like
we got that going for us.
I gotta mention the good stuff too.
Yes, absolutely. Let me go to the best voice on YouTube. That's the man down there.
He does have the best voice.
What's
up,
on,
everybody?
Man? How you doing tonight? Let them know where to find you and tell them all about your channel.
I'm doing pretty good tonight, man. Thank you for having me on, Bad Dog. Definitely just appreciative for you sharing the platform with us tonight, man. I do a podcast called Awthentik and the Beard. It's me and my homie and actually an extra homie. They're both Washington football team fans. I grew up in Washington, D.C., unfortunately around a bunch of Redskins and Washington football team fans, and I'm a New York Giants fan. We do our podcast Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m., and Sunday mornings we do a fantasy football podcast that's just like real laid back at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And yeah, man, we're just brand new to the community, man. It's my second year. Really got inspired by Entertainer Talking Sports. I was one of his like OG subscribers from back in the day, man, like first 200. And I remember when Bad Dog first came on the channel with him and y'all first collabed. So I'm pretty much OG Bad Dog as well, man.
Nice. Appreciate that. Yeah, definitely check out the show, guy. I mean, he's one of the most underrated guys in the Giants community. I mean, they do a great job. Definitely deserves more love. So check him out. And speaking of giving love, OGR, I believe you just hit 1,000 subscribers, sir. Tell them about your channel and tell them what's up, my man.
Well, thank you for getting me to 1,000. Everybody who has subbed, I guess. I haven't looked at it, but I do appreciate it. Obviously, I started off as a rebuttal channel, rebuttaling other Giants fans, like Bad Dog, my friend over here. But I quickly started going to more opinions and just giving my thoughts on the Giants as a whole. And I've enjoyed it. And but I don't have the voice that Awthentik does. That's for sure. and Lauren handed me my ASS in fantasy football about 2 weeks ago. So there we go with that.
I think the Giants League is the Giants creator, the Giants Content Creator League. I think that's my best team. I haven't been doing too well overall though, so I can't really brag about fantasy football. I don't have the rights to brag.
Yeah, I didn't even play it this year. I get sick of that. Word 21, man. Thank you so much for the donation to the Salvation Army. Really do appreciate that. I just want to say that once again, guys, tonight, again, you don't ever feel the need to do this and ever ask anybody to do it. But if you do want to donate tonight, 100% of the proceeds going to the Salvation Army. I take zero cut of this. YouTube takes zero cut of this. This is 100% going to the Salvation Army. Like I said in the video earlier today, I want to do a couple more of these before Christmas. I think this is just a good way to give back. I certainly have been extremely fortunate to have such a great following on YouTube. I can't believe the way my channel has grown. I owe that all to you guys. I owe that to the 3 people in this room. I owe it to everybody in the chat. So thank you so much. So if I can do any little part to give back and not take anything for a couple of these streams, I am more than happy to send that off. So Don I'm Italian. I should be able to say that. Don Periocho. Don, what's going on? Yeah, I already had too much of that. Thank you for the $5 donation. LA Lou, man, thank you so much for the $20 donation. Avion Fields, thank you guys so much. $20 donations to the Salvation Army. Thank you guys so much. Really, really do appreciate that very much. If I miss some guys, it's because I'm going to be talking. So if you do and I miss it, just know I'm greatly appreciative. The Salvation Army is greatly appreciative. And again, it goes to a good cause. So thank you guys so much. Lauren, we're going to start with you because, again, ladies first, and then we'll rotate. Tell me about the Giants' first half. What did you like about it? And what did you not like about it?
Well, I guess I have to say the thing I didn't like, just personally, you guys might relate to this, was definitely the heartbreaking losses. I felt like there's just so many this year. Those losses where you just think they have the chance. They're right there. I mean, there were so many close losses, so obviously there were heartbreakers. I think that Eagles game, the first Eagles game, was just like, that just crushed me because I thought they won. So obviously, just the heartbreaking losses weren't great. Daniel Jones definitely concerned me a little bit in the first half of the season. I was definitely getting a little nervous, and I'm someone who grew up watching Eli Manning and only Eli Manning. The only other quarterback I remember playing besides Eli Manning is Geno Smith and Daniel Jones. So like I was just used to the same quarterback playing every single week, and I almost just thought that was normal growing up. Just like, oh, there's the 2-time Super Bowl champ that's just going to play quarterback for us every single week. So I think that's definitely been like just something I had to get used to for me. Like it's normal for the quarterback to not be great every single week. Like it's normal for this guy you're just so used to watching every single week. You know, it's just different now watching Eli for me. Like I love Eli. Like just he always will have such a special place in my heart. Like just love him. But what have I liked? Joe Judge, obviously, just a lot of people weren't sure when they hired him because Matt Rule got hired by the Panthers, and, you know, people thought Matt Rule was going to come to the Giants, and then everyone's like, oh, they hired a special teams guy. What is this? And I think he's just been a really nice surprise for a lot of people, even outside of the Giants fandom. I just think people who watch the NFL in general. So I really do think Joe Judge is the future coach of this team. I just have a better feeling with him as a coach this far than I did with Shermer or McAdoo. So that's something I'm definitely excited about. And obviously the defense, like the defense was a huge issue last year, and they're playing pretty well this year. Like Blake Martinez, Bradbury, like these guys are just playing really well. Leonard Williams, and Dexter Lawrence. I mean, all these guys have a chance to make the Pro Bowl. So that's something I've been really excited about. Saquon Barkley's injury was also tough, but yeah, I just talked a lot. So.
Awesome. No, that's okay. That's what this is for. I just want to say, number one, Lax, thank you for the $20 donation
for the night.
We are being rated by the Sports Fury right now. Huge shout out to the Sports Fury because I went into their stream last night and saw that they were doing a fundraiser, and they've actually been doing this all week. And the money that you saw raised for the Salvation Army, it was like $1,800. They raised a lot of that, and I said I want to get in on this, guys. So the next live stream I do, which happened to me tonight, I'm gonna jump on board. You can actually collab with other video makers that set up the fundraiser. So I am. Whoa, anonymous man, thank you so much for the $50 donation. Really, really, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. But a huge shout out to Sports Fury. I mean, if you guys don't know Sports Fury, I don't know what to tell you. They're the whole reason my channel is what it is. They are the godfathers of streaming. There's no doubt about that. My channel changed directions because of those guys. And I always say I never forget where I came from. Never will forget what those guys did for me. at any point. They really got me off the ground, and they really inspired me to do what I do. So huge shout out to them. And then, of course, I didn't know how to do the fundraisers. So I asked them last night, and they let me know. And I said, I definitely have to get on board. I definitely want to do that. And guys, again, if I missed it, thank you all so much for your donations. Really, really appreciate it. It's going to a great cause. So thank you so much, guys. Really, really, really appreciate it. Sir Cardinal's in the house. What's going on, buddy? Always good to see Sir Cardinal, man. Thank you for the donation, brother. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. OGR, let me know what you liked about the Giants' first half and what you didn't like about the Giants' first half.
Well, what I did like is the Giants coming together. The Giants coming together and seeing improvement week after week after week and not making the same mistakes except for Daniel Jones. And obviously, that's the biggest disappointment. The biggest disappointment is Daniel Jones. I wanted more out of Daniel Jones. Now, have been as hard as some in the Giants community on Daniel because, again, I warned everybody about what would happen when you got rid of Shermer and when you got rid of the offensive system. But, again, no excuse on the turnovers free. Obviously, Daniel Jones is my biggest disappointment. But, he's been playing better of late, and let's see if we can keep this going to the rest of the season. And, obviously, big shout out to the Sports 30 for what they just did with the raid and whatnot. I know. They are truly the godfathers of streaming. So take it away, Awthentik.
Well, I'll tell you what. For me, the worst part was the start of the season there. And I'd say it began with the COVID situation, knowing that we weren't going to be having no mini camp, no off season, no preseason, and that worried me, especially for our quarterback. In the beginning, that was my number one thing. And with the struggling defense last year, going into this year, I thought that the off season was going to be really important for them as well too. And new coaching staff, and I think it's shown across the NFC East that, with the new coaches and without having the real time, the first 4 games kind of felt like a preseason to me a little bit. The only thing that was very unexpected about the beginning of the year to me was just the win-loss column, to be honest. I expected Daniel Jones to struggle a little bit because it's not like Daniel Jones came in the league and had like this turnover list kind of season, when he first started after I want to say that was week 3 last year. So I expected a little bit of growing pains, but I did expect the play to just step up a notch, and I figured Daniel would get it going his 3rd year. But the good is that out of that, we've gotten some players that I think otherwise we would not have gotten on this roster without some of these injuries. I like what Devonta Freeman did coming in for a couple games there before he got hurt. He was kind of that transition, I feel like, going right into Wayne Gallman, having these really good games lately. And it might have put some pressure on Wayne Gallman, I feel like. Wayne Gallman seems to be running with a new spark, and he's running like harder than I've seen him run before. Not that he was a terrible back or anything in the previous years, but I definitely like the players that have been brought in. And I think I'm the kind of guy that's like, I use my eyes a lot, especially when it comes to quarterback. So I wasn't blaming a lot of stuff on Daniel Jones. And same thing goes for the coaches and Dave Gettleman as a GM. When they first came in, my first thoughts of both of them were actually really high. I like what I saw from Joe Judge, the no-nonsense kind of attitude, making players run, practicing in the rain. I'm with all of that. I love the tough coaching. It builds a certain kind of pedigree in your players. So I kind of knew exactly what we had on day one. So, I mean, like I said, man, the only thing that really, really blew me about the beginning of the year was just the win-loss column. I thought our team was playing some tough games. And to be where we're at right now is I'm ecstatic about that. To have a chance to be able to make a run here and go into the playoffs, I'm really ecstatic about that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. For me, I think you guys could tell you watch my videos. Very disappointed in Daniel Jones. I'm not going to lie. I had very high expectations for Daniel Jones when he came out, and the decision making it would drive me crazy. Like I'm like, why are you forcing the ball? Why are you making these bad throws? And the game against Tampa to me was rock bottom. I know we were in that game, and I know we had a couple touchdowns, but God, he missed so many, and he had such inopportune interceptions that I felt like just crushed the momentum, and we were killing that team. And I felt like his turnovers were just so bad, and he missed so many throws, and he missed wide open Darius Slayton on the first interception. It's just everything seemed like it was so bad, and maybe he hit rock bottom at that point and came back up from that. I think to me, and again, it's just because I had extremely high expectations for Daniel Jones. I still feel like Daniel Jones can be really good, but I started to get concerned because I feel like his decision-making wasn't good. He's definitely played much better in the last 2 games, and if he plays like that, we're going to win a lot more football games. There's no doubt about that. I also had a big question about Andrew Thomas. I was scared to death about Andrew Thomas. I'm like, my God, not another Eric Flowers, not another bad left tackle that we took in the top 10. Please, God, no. Daniel Jones is going to get killed like Eli Manning got killed at the end of his career. And I'm like, you can't have that. You cannot have a young quarterback getting blindsided or thinking he's going to get blindsided every time he drops back to pass. Those are the 2 things. thank God that those two guys have really come around. And that's why I think we're starting to play a lot better as an offense. That's also helped Wayne Gallman, who I love. I mean, Wayne Gallman out of Clemson, I love the pick. He kind of got shuffled back in the bench. He had a lot of fumbling problems, and I don't think Shermer ever utilized him correctly. I'm glad to see him getting an opportunity. I think that the Giants should get Wayne Gallman back. I think it'd be a perfect compliment to Saquon Barkley. The good to me is the coaching staff. I think the coaching staff's been phenomenal. And I'm not just talking about Joe Judge, who's just the man. I don't know what else to say. When Bill Parcells gives you a ringing endorsement, you know you're doing something right. Patrick Graham has done wonders with this defense, who I never thought would be this good, this quick. Of course, give Gettleman some credit for bringing in Blake Martinez and James Bradbury, who have been absolutely phenomenal for this team. No doubt about that. And I think Jason Garrett's really opened up the playbook. I think you're seeing a lot more confidence in what he's doing. A lot more confidence in the players that he has now. You're starting to see this line move a lot better than they did at the beginning of the year. Nick Gates able to pull out the pulling of the guards, the stunting, all the stuff that they're doing, the ability to run the misdirection plays and the razzle-dazzle plays had to do with the confidence in the blocking of the offensive line. So those are things I like. Those are things I didn't like. Lauren, you think you can talk a lot. You haven't been with me here. I can talk all night. Those are the things that I like and dislike. So let me get your opinion on this. Awthentik, we'll start with you this time. What do you think about the whole situation with Mark Colombo? What is your take on that?
Well, I didn't read into it the last couple of days because I heard a little bit of more news came out. But off my initial reaction, I liked Colombo coming from Dallas, who's always had a pretty fantastic offensive line for the past couple of decades. I liked him coming in. It was very quiet before this news came out. And I got to just go with, I trust Joe Judge in this situation, man. I like how he handled the Golden Tate situation. I like how he handled the Andrew Thomas situation. And I like how he handled the Colombo situation. I mean, they're saying that he was in there having to put his hand in the coaching style and schemes for the offensive line, when in reality, he really wanted to be more of an overseer of what was going on. And I mean, I played enough ball to know that if the head coach has to come over to a core and kind of figure out what's going on, then there's really some trouble going on there. So, yeah, I trust Joe Judge on it, and I like the firing. I like the hiring of bringing in the homie from Indianapolis Colts, who had a great offensive line back in 2018. And I think we'll just continue to grow as an offensive line. I like the youth with our offensive line as well.
Nice. Di Guglielmo. That's a nice Italian name right there. Di Guglielmo. Hey, Di Guglielmo. Googs, what's going on? OGR, what do you think about the whole Colombo situation?
I'm right with Awthentik. I agree 100%. I like the move of Guglielmo, and I also like the fact that, well, first off, I want to get this out of the way. Everybody in the chat, say hi to Bobby. Lauren, say hi to Bobby.
Hey, Bobby.
Hey,
Bobby!
God.
What up, Bobby?
All right. So we got
good
that
eye there,
out of the way.
OGR. Good eye on that one.
Yeah. And anyway, so I trust in Joe Judge. I trust his thought. Again, when the offensive line averages 59 yards, and then all of a sudden your head coach comes in and they're averaging 110, just with the running backs, not with Daniel Jones, counting any of Daniel Jones' runs. There's something wrong there. And what really was a catalyst for us was Andrew Thomas's former coach coming out and saying something a couple weeks ago and be like, I don't see the same player. He's sitting there machine gun with his punches right off the line. That doesn't look like the same player to me. And I think that's kind of when Joe Judge stepped in and said, hey, maybe there is something more to this, and kind of started sniffing around, doing an investigation. And then when he realized that, Colombo wasn't happy with Google Amano or whatever his name's coming in, Coach Goog coming in. I think that's when he said, you know what? You're going to yell at me about this. You're a young coach yourself. Like, accept this. How many times was Coach Goog's, offensive line coach, and then took a back seat and became assistant, coach? It's happened multiple times in his career. You don't see the guy complaining about it. It is what it is. So either way, take it away, Lauren.
Yeah, I basically agree with what you guys have been saying. It's actually funny though, because I had my phone away because I was concentrating and stuff, doing schoolwork. So I had it away for a half hour, and I go to pick up my phone, and I see the notifications that the Giants had fired him. And then I saw a notification. I didn't see the tweet, but my friend sent me a tweet with the this emoji. I don't know how to do it. And I was like, oh gosh, something must have happened with this firing. What happened during the bye week here? Turns out that wasn't true. Turns out it wasn't physical. But yeah, I just think it was the right move. Like, apparently Joe Judge had been more involved with the offensive line recently, and they've been playing better recently. And yeah, like, I don't want to just reiterate what you guys said, but so yeah, definitely agree. I think it's the right move. I think it's a good move. And I mean, hopefully the offensive line continues to just improve, because I think they're on the right track right now.
Yeah, I agree, and I see Dave Guglielmo's in the chat. So we always get the coaches in here. LeBron James will swing by. Coach Joe Judge comes in. Jason Garrett, he comes in. Jason Garrett tells us what's going on. This is what happens when you get to a certain point in YouTube. The Giants actually come in and start hanging out, because we all know those are the real guys. But yeah, I mean, OGR, you and I talked about it before the stream started, and I agree. I think that. I said this to you off camera, that when Andrew Thomas's line coach from Georgia came out and said, this isn't the same player at Georgia, his technique's completely different, why isn't he doing what he did at Georgia? At that point, I feel like Joe Judge went in there and stepped in, because Joe Judge said in his press comments, I'm not going to call play. I'm not the offensive coordinator. I'm not the defense coordinator. I'm not the line coach. I'm not the linebackers coach. I'm not the quarterbacks coach. I'm not the tight ends coach. I'm the head coach. These guys are supposed to do their job. I'm going to oversee what they do, but I'm not going to do their job. And I think that it did get to a point, and we know this offensive line was pathetic. But ever since that day, when Andrew Thomas's line coach came out and said that, this offensive line's improved, especially Andrew Thomas. Now, I attributed it, and so did other people at first, to Shane Lemieux. But that may not be the case. Now that we got more information as to what was going on here for the last few weeks, I do have a feeling it happened to be Joe Judge kind of getting involved in that and changing things around, and probably telling Andrew Thomas, listen, do what you did at Georgia. I don't know what this guy's teaching you. Unlearn it. Unlearn whatever he taught you. It ain't working. Go back to what works for you. And not to mention, I heard Joe Judge tore him up on the field. He railroaded. He crushed Andrew Thomas. He ripped him a new one.
I mean, the story came out that Colombo tried to defend it, and I mean that you just don't do that.
No.
Hey, let me ask you guys something. So when his ex-coach came out with the news, right, was that a red flag to y'all at all, to our offensive line coach at all?
A little bit, because I didn't think that Andrew Thomas was that bad. Like, a lot of people were getting on his case, and I'm like, to me, he, even with the mistakes, he's still not playing that bad, because, I listen to other guys that break down the film. I mean, I'm not the biggest offensive line guy. I'm not the biggest film watcher either. At the end of the day, like Bad Dog, I'm a fan. But I do understand a little bit, and I'm like, he's not playing that bad. There's something wrong here. There's no way a former coach would be saying about this, especially a college coach. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. In hindsight, it looked like a subliminal to me, like he was trying to say something, from an ex-coach's perspective, to kind of give his players some leadway. Now in hindsight, that the offensive line coach did get fired, it looks like it's like that.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Lauren with the play action sneeze over there.
I had to clear my throat, but I didn't want to do it.
You caught it. I just dabbing over there. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just so programmed now to any noise I make with my mouth or nose to cover it.
All right, let me get your opinion on Daniel Jones. Obviously, that's a hot topic. That's been a hot topic all season. So OGR, we'll start with you this time. What give me your opinion on Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones a future franchise quarterback?
See, me, I'm in the opposite narrative than everybody. I think a lot of days people just want that top 10, top 5 quarterback, and that's what they believe that wins in this league. I don't. I'm complete opposite. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't have the confidence to sit there and tell you that Daniel Jones is the future quarterback. But what I can tell you is, regardless if he is or not, I want to build the best team around this guy. So if we decide, a year or two from now to move off of Daniel Jones, we have the pieces in place, and it's set up better than it was when Daniel Jones came in. And I believe in having a better offensive line, better wide receivers, better tight ends, better running backs. Just for that reason, I believe building around your quarterback regardless. There are the mistakes with Daniel Jones, it's nerve-wracking. You don't want to see your guy making the same mistake over and over again. I hope this trend of not turning the ball over and him kind of warming up to Jason Garrett's system it is a change for the future. And I just look to see what he's going to be doing going forward. And that's pretty much it.
Lauren, what do you think about Daniel? I know you said you and I think quite a bit alike about Daniel.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of on the same page. So I'm definitely an emotional fan for sure, like 100%. Like that's what the instant reactions are. They're literally just my emotion talking. They're not like they're not there to be like analytical or like
I understand
whatever.
that completely.
It's just like this is my emotion right now. So I think the thing with Daniel Jones is his rookie debut, like his first NFL game, was such a crazy game. It's like, how could you not love the guy after that game and think like, oh my gosh, this is the next Eli. This is this guy. Like, I feel like a lot of people, or maybe not a lot of people, but me, like after that game, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then, you know, the start of this season, it just seems like every single game he was getting worse up until like around the midway point, and then you definitely get concerned, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Blah 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 blah. It's like honestly, I kind of differ from you here, OGR. Like I do believe this is a quarterback driven league, and to win, you do need a really good quarterback. I mean, you can win without a great quarterback, but to have a dynasty. I mean that's asking a lot. That's me asking a lot right now. But to have a dynasty and like multiple Super Bowl runs, you need a great quarterback, in my opinion. But listen, like as long as Daniel Jones keeps improving this year, as long as he keeps improving till the end of the season, and you know maybe has a third straight game without a turnover, and that streak continues, and is just making smart decisions. I think you just go into next year, you know, second year under Joe Judge, and you just take it from there because, whoa, I just forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something. Oh, yeah, this is what I was going to say. I think a lot of it was mental, like with Daniel Jones, because it just seemed like he would, you know, beat himself up over the mistakes because, you know, it's New York media, and every week the noise was getting louder and louder about these quarterbacks in the draft. I mean, like I was even like, yeah, I was watching the Ohio State game and I texted my friend who's a Giants fan. I was like, whoa, like Justin Fields looks like a really good quarterback. Like I can't even lie. Like I'm just like that. But I think, like you said, the Buccaneers game was rock bottom. So once he hit rock bottom, it's like, okay, that was the worst it's going to get. Look, I'm still here. I'm still the quarterback of the Giants. Like now let's correct those mistakes. And it's almost like no pressure because that was the worst it's going to get. Like that was rock bottom. And look, since that game, he hasn't turned over the ball. And I think, yeah, just like mentally, as long as he like has confidence in himself. And I think this little 2-game win streak is going to help that. Like, I think he will play better and not make those mistakes that get a lot of people really frustrated, including myself.
Yeah, I know all about the instant reactions. I do that quite a bit. I do that like 3 days after the game. I'm still my channel's pretty much always instant reactions. I take a beating for that sometimes, but hey, I never make any claims. I'm a fan. My channel. Yeah, that's how every week to week it's different. Guys will be like, "Oh, I thought you gave up on him." I'm like, "Yeah, that Eagle game took everything out of me." And I did feel like it at that point. But guess what? Tomorrow's another day. Awthentik, what do you think about Daniel Jones?
I'm definitely on the Daniel Jones bandwagon, 100%. And like I said, when I watch football, I'm not a big avid college football fan, and it's very difficult for me to assess college quarterbacks when I do watch college ball because the speed of the game is so slow. You see guys who can like really ball out in college come to the NFL, and then the speed of the game, like Dwayne Haskins is a perfect example of it. Who he looks like a guy who shouldn't even be in the NFL, and you question scouting regimes actually going after this guy. And I feel like the Giants were looking at him too. But when I see Daniel Jones and I look at the skill set, there's nothing that quarterback can't do. He just has to clean up the turnovers, if you ask me. And there was a dude. I've been bringing up this story for like the past couple shows I've been on my show. There was a dude on Entertainer's channel when he did his Q&A like last week, and he talked about all the Giants quarterbacks that have had success with us, that have went to Super Bowls or that have won Super Bowls. And I mean, look at these guys. They've never been the top guy in the league unanimously. We could start with Eli Manning, Kerry Collins, Jeff Hostetler, Phil Simms. None of those guys were ever top-notch guys. So it's proof that you can win in the NFL without having the best quarterback. And especially nowadays, I feel like even in the NFL, it's so hard to gauge what the quarterback should look like because there's so many different styles. Last year, everybody was saying, oh, we need to get Eli, or 2 years ago, we need to get Eli out of here. We need a running quarterback because you're getting guys coming in the league who can run the ball successfully from that position. Now you're seeing guys who can scramble, roll out of the pocket like Kyler Murray. You got the Russell Wilsons who run, but not to run down the field. They run to get themselves open for more throws. You got guys like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes who are at the top of the league. When you look at the skill set of those guys, they look like the best quarterbacks in the league. Aaron Rodgers only has one Super Bowl to show for it. And I just feel like you got to put weapons around your quarterback. I don't care who he is. And Kansas City's a perfect example of it. They literally look like an all-star squad of at every position. I mean, look at tight end. Look at the 2 wide receivers. Even their 3rd wide receiver. You're getting Sammy Watkins back, who was a top wide receiver in this league, addressing their running back situation from last year with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, bringing in Bell. You know, they're still trying to put pieces around him. Even signing DeAndre Baker. They're trying to put pieces around the defense now to be able to win games. And I think regardless of what you do, you got to just find the best team that molds well to score the most points, especially offensively. And with Jason Garrett coming in here, I think he is the guy to do this. I like the offensive talent he's brought in from college when he was with the Dallas Cowboys, and I think that'll help Dave Gettleman because we've seen Dave Gettleman do the defensive side of the ball pretty much perfectly. We had a couple injuries kind of derail, I feel like, what could have been a better pass rush this year from the edge specifically because we have great pass rush from the center. But regardless, I think when it comes to quarterback, you got to put the right guys around him. And you're seeing it. Like Saquon Barkley, if we show that to 10 fans, 9 of them are going to be like, yo, Daniel Jones is going to excel with a guy like Saquon Barkley. But you're seeing it in the last couple of weeks. A straightforward runner like Wayne Gallman, a guy like Daniel Jones can benefit from that because now he's not looking at 2nd and 13, 2nd and 14. He's looking at 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7. Wayne Gallman will finish the game with maybe 60 yards in the game. And as a Giants fan, it feels like we're effectively running the ball. So I just think it's all about putting those right pieces around him. And I think next year it'll start with bringing in another wide receiver and possibly a better tight end.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with some of what you said. I just real quick, just want to say we got almost 400 people in here. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. And anybody, I know I can't get to all the donations for the Salvation Army. So again, I've just been kind of putting in the chat, but thank you guys so much that donated to the Salvation Army. Really do appreciate it. Make sure that you guys hit the like button. That always helps out the stream, and that's free. That costs nothing, but it does help out the stream. More importantly, the links to all 3 of these great content creators are in the description. Make sure that you guys and girls are going in there, clicking on those links, subbing up these channels, and make sure you ring that bell notification so you know when they go live. That way you can watch your videos, live streams, whatever they do. Definitely worth watching. If it wasn't, I would not have them on my channel, let's face it. So these guys do a good job without a doubt. I'm a fan of all 3 of these, and I think you will be too. So make sure you guys are subscribing. I agree with what you said about having players around a quarterback that obviously helps. But I will always disagree with the Phil Simms and Jeff Hostet. The league was different. I mean, I heard people, hey, look at Daniel Jones's numbers, look at Peyton Manning's numbers. No, that's not how it works. And I did a whole video on that. I actually did research. I don't usually research when I do my videos. I just kind of shoot from the hip. But like I said, 1998, I think 2 quarterbacks threw for 4,000 yards, and last year 11 threw for 4,000 yards. It's just not the same league. It's not. You do need a quarterback this day and age. Everything is set up for the offense. You can't breathe on a quarterback. You can't touch a quarterback. You can't flick the quarterback. You can't look at the quarterback. It's a flag. You can't touch a receiver. Can't pick. Can't do anything. It's a flag. You can't do anything. You can't play defense in this league. So you do need a quarterback. See, I agree with Lauren that I believe it's a quarterback-driven league as well. I don't have any doubt about that. I think that your best quarterbacks put the teams on their shoulders. Yes, Patrick Mahomes has a great cast, but Patrick Mahomes is special. There's no doubt about that. Russell Wilson is special. Russell Wilson won his Super Bowls with a great running back, but not great receivers. Yep. He didn't have great receivers, and his offensive line's never been great either. He's always been able to make plays with his feet. And you know, he was just very accurate on the field. He made great decisions. I mean, he didn't turn the ball over. That's huge.
Yeah, and I don't want you to get it too twisted. Like, you know, I do agree that you do need at least a top guy, you know, who's up there in at least the top 10 of quarterbacks, top 15. You can't have a guy out. You can't have Trent Dilfer anymore go out here and win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that, but that's why I started by saying, you know, I do think Daniel has all of the skill sets. I mean, when you see this guy run the RPO, there's not many quarterbacks that can run the RPO like that. And here's the thing about guys running the RPO and who can run down the field. They can't sit in the pocket and make the throws that Daniel Jones makes when you see him at his best. But the problem is definitely the mistakes, and I think he has to get his mental in sync with his physical play. That's one of the main things with Daniel Jones. I feel like when the pressure's kind of barreling down, especially from his blind side, he feels that internal clock finish, and you see him flinch, and you see him kind of hesitate. But his body and his mechanics are not, you know, moving along with the mind, and I think that's where a lot of people are questioning the decision-making. But if you look at Daniel Jones, and somebody said this on my show a couple weeks back, they were like, you'll never see Daniel Jones throw one of those interceptions like Alex Smith threw at the end of the game versus us, where he just drops back and throws it to nobody. It's always him trying to make the play, kind of trying to go out of his limits and trying to change the game where he, you know, we're starting to see him now third down or second down come around and he knows he has another down to be able to make a play, you'll see him throw the ball away. Whereas in other situations like that earlier in the year, you'd see him try to scramble and maybe the big fumble happens or maybe the big interception happens.
See, and I agree with you 100% about that. I mean, this is why I thought Daniel Jones would be a top 10. I said he'd be a top 10 quarterback this year, make the Pro Bowl, because I agree. I think his skill set is phenomenal. But I got worried about the mental because you can't coach the mental. That's instinctual. You can't coach a guy's brain. You can't coach his decisions. You can tell him all you want, but when it comes down to it and that guy is barreling down, like you said, and he tries to make a play, that's all him. That's why I was so hard on him. Not because I don't think he has, he don't have the strongest arm. You don't need to have the strongest arm at all. But because he doesn't, his lack of anticipation where he has to throw the ball where the receiver is supposed to be. He can't hesitate like he did on the 2-point conversion. He had Deion Lewis wide open. That game should have been tied. And he flinched, and then he threw it behind him. And that's why I'm like,
and even on that one, I think he just missed the throw. Just even when he let it go, it's not even close. You got to put that ball out near the pylon. Right. That ball's on his back shoulder. And now you're giving the defender a chance to make the play. I remember freezing that one, and I froze it right when he let the ball go. And like, I swear 10 out of 10 people would have said, we're going to have a touchdown on that play. That defender is way out of position on that play. 7 yards
away from him.
And he just completely missed the throw. And we are seeing a little bit of that. You're seeing him miss some throws, and you're seeing him miss some reads. You're seeing him miss the wide receivers down the field. But I think we got to remember he's a young guy, and I'm just one to be like, give him his chance at least to show he can play. I mean, is he still under 20 games? Well, how many games is he at now?
Oh, he's over 20. He played 12 last year, 22 games.
So he's at 22 games. For me, it's like I'd like to see him at least be our quarterback going into next season. And then if you see a lot of the same with the turnovers and the mental stuff by week 9, week 10, I mean, then it's time to start, thinking about trying to bring in another quarterback possibly. But I don't know. I think this team is very invested in him. And I think they have a lot of faith in Daniel Jones. And I do too. I just think he has the skill set. He has what it takes. It's just going to be adjusting to the speed of the NFL, I think.
Yeah, and that again, that comes with experience. But because we're able to run the ball a lot better, it takes pressure off them, and that's huge. That is so huge, and again, that enhances the RPO. But you can run the ball, and again, Wayne Gallman's runs ain't sexy. I mean, he's not breaking a 78-yard touchdown run and hurdling guys and making guys miss, but it is those root canal drives that Carl Banks talked about. You just take the lead out of the defense, and you're just slamming the ball 3 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 4 yards, constantly wearing them down. Then all of a sudden, you're going to see linebackers crash the line of scrimmage, which allows Daniel Jones to pull out in the RPO. That's why I've always said, and I've said this since God knows when, everything's predicated off the run. You can't run, quarterback's going to struggle. If you can run, quarterback's going to be a lot better.
And one more thing about Daniel Jones. Right. Early in the year, I think what was really killing Giants fans is when Daniel had a chance to put teams away. And the Bucs game was a big one. It's like we got that lead. We're coming out in the half. You know that you cannot make a mistake there. And he comes out and he makes the mistake. You saw it in the Eagles game, and you also saw a complete collapse from the rest of the team along with that defense in the last, I'd say, 9 minutes in that game as well. Now, in this last game against the Eagles, I saw an opening, and I called it to Tim when we were watching the game. It was in the fourth quarter, and the Giants were like trying to run the clock out. We were up by 7. And I was like, we need to take a shot right here. This is the opening that Daniel Jones needs to be able to prove that why he was the 6th pick and be able to make these plays that keep these drives going. Because the Eagles game, remember, Evan Ingram has the drop, but also Wayne Gallman stalls out on 1st and 2nd down on that drive. And he put him away with that throw to Darius Slayton with that fade route one-on-one. And that reminded me of the Plaxico Burress days, where you would just let him go one-on-one and let him make a play. Just put that ball up, make it an easy catch. So I need to see more of that, and then I'll have more faith in Daniel Jones if he can continue to put teams away when he has those opportunities to really bury them and really bury that coffin. I'll really be even more invested in Daniel Jones as our quarterback.
Right. One thing
that's so.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say that's so funny because I was watching, like when I was watching the game, I was thinking that same exact thing. Like they can't just run the ball 3 times here. Like they need to get a first down here because what game was it? The Washington game. They just ran the ball.
Yeah.
3.
Uh-oh.
She'll come back.
She'll come back. There she goes. Yeah,
you're back.
All right, but I was just saying, it was just good to see Daniel Jones, close that game out for them. It was funny, though, because I was looking for the exact same thing there. And it just, that's got to be
You're
100%
right about the Washington game, too, because we gave Alex Smith 2 opportunities at the end of that game. It should have just been 1 if we could have got a couple first downs. You're right. But we tried to run it out, and then we had to punt it again. I think they got the ball back with, just under a minute left. when he threw that second interception. He threw 2 interceptions and 3 throws in that game. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Real quick, one thing I did like about Daniel Jones in the Philly game, when Philadelphia came out in the second half, went right down the field and scored a touchdown, I'm sitting there going, God, here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again. Dominated first half. We're going to blow it. Daniel Jones made 2 fantastic throws. They went right down the field and answered with a touchdown. To me, where a lot of times he's been turning the ball over, and that's been the turning point of the game, that touchdown to make it 21-11 to me was a turning point in the game.
100%.
That was
100%.
I agree 100%.
That was
Yeah,
so
100%, bro.
My jaw was dropped after that throw to whatchamacallit on the sideline, because it's so underrated throws that like you see him kind of throw the wide receiver open, or always throw it in a position where a wide receiver can get it, and he wasn't making those throws, probably 4 or 5 weeks before.
Yeah.
And you've seen him start to grow. Even the Tampa Bay game, everybody says, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing on the Tampa Bay game. And yes, it was his worst game as far as turnovers, but I even saw it in the Tampa Bay game. I just felt the confidence coming, and hopefully he steamrolls the rest of the season like this.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to need him for sure. Well, somebody else that
at one point, you're right. And at one point in this game, at maybe 1 or 2 games, we're going to need Daniel Jones to step up and be that playmaker and not just a game manager. If we want to go to the playoffs, that's what he's going to have to do. He's either going to have to do it Arizona, Seattle, or the Ravens, in my personal opinion. One of those games, he's going to have to step up and carry the team.
Yeah, well, Seattle's defense isn't what it used to be. So if he's going to have a breakout game, it could definitely come against them. We're going to have to score points because I don't even want to look at Seattle. I don't like DK Metcalf. He scares me. I'm not gonna we could have had DK Metcalf instead of DeAndre Baker.
He had some Evan Ingram moments in that game on Monday night. He had 2 big drops, one in the end zone. They had to settle for 3 in the back end zone.
That was a total Evan.
Yeah. I love DK Metcalf, though. He's a fantastic. That's the kind of wide receiver I would have loved to have in New York.
Everybody, Philadelphia. I'm glad they didn't get him either. Thank God thank God they went Arcega Whiteside. Thank God, Harry Roseman don't know how to draft a wide receiver to save his life over there in Philadelphia. They got no clue. Let's talk about somebody that looks like we're going to get back here against Cincinnati, who we have not seen all year. You guys probably know what I'm talking about at this point. Xavier McKinney, man, he was a huge steal in the second round. I know pretty much every Giants fan loved that pick. We couldn't believe that he fell to us. We're going to start with you, OGR. What do you think about Xavier McKinney? What can Xavier McKinney bring to this team? I know it's hard to say because we haven't seen much of him. You just kind of got to go on feel and what he did at Alabama. But what do you think he brings to the team? How do you think
I think we have a mirror of 2 players. And to me, I'm going to put Xavier McKinney in that Jabril Peppers category, where he's more of a box safety, will come down and make the plays. And I don't know if he can play that deep safety. I really didn't see it all that much at Alabama. He's probably capable of it. I don't know. That's my problem with Xavier McKinney. And that's why I think he'll be worked into the rotation at first. I don't think he's just going to come out of the bye and get the start or anything like that. I think a lot of Giants fans feel that way because he was a second-round pick, and maybe he would have been in the beginning of the year. But again, I don't know if we have that true free safety. That's why when you did your video earlier in the week, you mentioned me and Antoine Winfield Jr. because that's the guy I wanted if we were going to go take a safety, because I wanted that true, ball
hawking safety,
ball hawking free safety. And I just don't see that in Xavier McKinney. Not to say he can't be that. And I'm excited, and I hope he proves me wrong, but I don't see that in Xavier McKinney's game right now.
I just want to say real quick, Kim in Mexico, thank you for the donation. It is so good to see you, Kim. I haven't seen you in forever. Kim was an OG, and when I first started streaming, Kim was always there. So good to see you, Kim. I hope you're doing really well. I know that you're busy and you haven't had a chance to get these live streams. I just happened to look over there and see you, so I really appreciate you being here. It's great to see you, Kim, and I hope everything's going well down there in old Mexico, south of the border. So I hope you're staying safe and hope everything is doing really good. Great to see you in here. Awthentik, what do you think that Xavier McKinney brings to this team?
I definitely think he can bring a little bit more toughness. I saw somebody compare him in the chat to Minkah Fitzpatrick, which that would be awesome. I think if you could have 2 big hitter, because Peppers is a big hitter and he's a threat on our defense. And even right now, I mean, at worst, if Xavier McKinney could just come in and add some depth to this team, we know we need it in that secondary. I think that we really got to address that other cornerback, because even right now with Logan Ryan getting some safety time, we still got a bunch of young bulls on the bench. I like where they're building this team, But Xavier McKinney, I mean, I don't think him coming in the lineup is going to hurt anything at all. They should be able to bring him in and rotate him, I'd imagine. And then Logan Ryan, as a veteran, could probably step back and stop having to be on the field so much. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. I hope they don't rush him back. I would hate to see him have a setback with an injury. And, I mean, he just adds more youth to this secondary, which is awesome. He could be a perfect replacement for Logan Ryan, I think, maybe in 2 years, because I want to see Logan Ryan come back next year as well.
Before we get to Lauren real quick, I'll ask you something, Awthentik. Do you think Logan Ryan can go out there and be that other boundary guy and play it better than the guys we have right now?
I don't think so. I think speed might be an issue. I like what they're doing with Darnay Holmes, bringing him in, but it just seems like we need a little bit more depth, and they didn't have a plan for that with the DeAndre Baker thing happening, so that really just that set us back. But then scooping up James Bradbury is like, man, if we didn't lose Baker, we probably never had Bradbury, so that worked out fantastic. But yeah, just building depth around this secondary. The one thing about this secondary that bothers me is our pass rush has been really good this year. Our takeaways have been pretty decent too, and we know about the linebackers stepping up, but it's not translating into our secondary limiting the passing yards. I mean, we're like high middle of the league as far as allowing passing yards, and you would think that the pass rush would slow that down, but the Giants seem to be one of the teams that's not completely translating for. And
I think we're getting more coverage sacks, that's why. Yeah,
we're definitely getting some coverage sacks, but that weak side corner is a big problem. What's my man's name?
And our zone too.
Ryan Lewis. Zone. And I think that Patrick Graham is playing a lot of zone because he knows the personnel and he knows what's up. He knows he has to have a safety over the top. If Yadam is over there on that corner, he's got to have a safety over the top. And if it's Ryan Lewis over there, who I can remember like Ryan Lewis's first game, I thought he looked comfortable at the position. But then you see him get burnt against Dallas late from Michael Gallup, which that sealed that game for us. And then you saw him get burnt later on against Philadelphia. So I don't like seeing cornerbacks back of their jerseys with their nameplate, man. That's a big thing for me, and you constantly see that with those two guys over there. So I'm just looking to bring some depth in that corner, and Xavier McKinney, I don't think he could hurt at all getting some free safety time back there, having two threats like that could knock your head off.
Yeah, I mentioned that before. I love the hard hitting safeties. I mean, I'm older, so I go back to I mentioned Steve Atwater.
Oh my God,
I love
Steve
Atwater,
Christian McCoy, and the freaking
I love Atwater. Chuck Cecil, David Fulcher. I mean, those are my guys. Like, I just love Ronnie Lott, obviously.
Ronnie Lott was crazy.
Those guys. Hey, Lauren, what do you think Xavier McKinney brings to this team? What do you think? How do you think that they're going to use him?
Yeah, just like you guys said, I think he's going to bring physicality, like hard-hitting safety. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, obviously, I don't know when he's coming back, but I don't know. I just have a feeling he's not going to play versus the Bengals. I don't know though. Like that's just like something I saw someone on Twitter say, and I forgot who. So like, who knows?
I think he's eligible, but he certainly could.
I know they did say like it would obviously be after the bye, but yeah, I just think like physicality. I am interested what they're gonna do with the safety position. I don't think he's gonna be the starter right away. He probably won't start this season. I mean, never say never, but I don't think he will start this season. But yeah, just a guy who can bring a lot of physicality.
One thing that I like about Xavier McKinney, one reason I think that they drafted him, number one, he was the best, I think, overall safety in the draft. Maybe not cover safety, but he could do a bunch of different things. And like I said, I wanted Isaiah Simmons. I'm a big defensive guy. Like I said, I'm an old school guy, grew up in the 80s. So I remember those Lawrence Taylor. I mean, my God, the guy was great. There's never going to be another Lawrence Taylor, and I don't expect that. But I wanted Isaiah Simmons. I wanted a playmaker on defense. Xavier McKinney actually graded higher in almost every category. The thing I love about Xavier McKinney, and the reason I think he was brought in here, and if you heard this with pretty much everybody we drafted, smart. He's smart. He's smart. Remember Joe Judge said, we're here to teach these guys. I want guys that can teach. You got guys that that can teach. And he also preaches versatility. We're top 10 in the league in sacks. Could you tell me who the sack leader is and how many sacks he has on our team? I can't.
Maybe
nobody's got like 9.
Leo, I think he has 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Leonard Williams.
He's got that many?
Yeah, he's got 5 or 6. I know last game he had 5.
Leo balling out. But
isn't he leading in Pro Bowl voting right now or something?
He could be. He's had a great year. The Giants are bringing him back. This doesn't look so bad by Dave Gettleman anymore.
Him and Delvin Tomlinson.
Make sure y'all vote for the Pro Bowl too in the chat, man. Make sure y'all
James
vote
Bradbury needs to make
this week.
Needs to make the Pro Bowl.
Definitely.
There's no doubt about that. But McKinney is very versatile. And I think you have 2 safeties that are incredibly versatile. And Patrick Graham likes to bring pressure from all different parts of the field. So I can see Xavier McKinney being a lot of money backer. I mean, I can see him coming up to the line, blitzing off the edge, blitzing up the A gap, whatever, and still going out and being able to cover a tight end. I'm excited. I mean, I was excited when we got Xavier McKinney. I really like him. In OGR, to your point, I mean, I completely understand. I always love, I told you, the pick six is my favorite play. I love interceptions. So I would have loved an Antoine Winfield that could come out and get you 7 or 8 interceptions back in the day, like Stevie Brown did for us one year when he had like 8 interceptions and returned it for like 320 yards or some crazy thing. Stevie Brown was making a play every year. How many of you remember in the chat remember Stevie Brown? He wasn't here long, but he made an impact, man. Him and Will Hill, those guys.
Will Hill was nice.
Yeah, he was part of the 420 crew. By the way, 420 crew, you know what to do. Smoke them busy down there. I just mentioned that. But yeah, so I'm excited to see what McKinney can do. I love the way the defense is played already, and I think just adding another really versatile piece, a really talented piece, and a guy that knows how to play, a guy that's smart, a guy that I feel could pick up the playbook like that, unlike DeAndre Baker.
Right.
I feel like Lawrence said,
I don't fall asleep in meetings.
Right. Yeah. That's a plus. I don't think he'll start this week, and I don't know if he'll start at all this year, maybe the last couple of games. Maybe it'll depend on what the Giants are. Maybe it depend on how close we are to winning this division, which certainly isn't out of the realm of possibility. But I'm excited to see what he does, no doubt. I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. We're 3-7. Who the hell would have ever thought my Giants fans sitting being really happy about 3-7? Who the hell would have ever thought that would even be possible? It's
bad dog
playing competitive football during like Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving and the Giants are playing competitive football and are in the playoff hunt. So like can't ask for anything more.
And to Lauren's point, if I told you 3-7 before the season and we're going to be playing meaningful football in November, you probably would have looked at me cross-eyed.
I might not have, because listen, I said this division stunk before. I said no team in this division was winning more than 9 games. I don't think the Eagles are any good. I think they had a terrible draft.
I don't think any team's winning more than 6, to be honest.
Right. Well, maybe not now. Now that Dak's out. I didn't think the Eagles were good. I thought they had a terrible draft. They're in Cap Hell. I tried to tell that fan base 2 years ago, or the beginning of last year, that they're in Cap Hell. They didn't want to believe me. Just thinking I was hating on them. They're in Cap Hell. Dallas defense is disgraceful. I mean, they could have been 0-8 even before Dak Prescott got hurt. Their two wins were gifts. Number one, the officials, I don't care what anybody says, the officials cost us that game against them, and it was blatant. And then the Atlanta Falcons blew, a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter. They really could be winless. So they're no good. And Washington, well, they don't have a quarterback, and they stink, and we are their daddies. I mean, I think that Washington's football names team should be New York Giants bitches.
103 wins lifetime. Only team in the NFL that have over 100 wins against another franchise.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no doubt. All right. Real quick, once again, just want to say thank you, everybody that's in the chat. We got almost 440 people in here. So, again, thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. If you have donated tonight to the Salvation Army, I just want to say again, thank you so much. I saw somebody ask where the super chat is. There's no super chat tonight. Any proceeds donated tonight goes directly to the Salvation Army. I'm not taking anything. YouTube is not taking anything. This is strictly for the Salvation Army. All donations go to them. So thank you for donating. If you have not done so, smash that thumbs up. It does help out this stream. It helps out every YouTuber's channel. That's why I always ask, and make sure that you go into the description. The link to all 3 of these great content creators are down there. Subscribe to She Got Sports. Subscribe to Awthentik. Subscribe to OGR. Congratulations again on a 1,000, my man. You can do
congrats, bro.
Congrats.
There you go. So subscribe to these great content creators. You will not regret it. Make sure you ring that bell notification so you do get a notification that they've done some kind of content, because as you've seen in my videos, YouTube is either shadow banning me or people are just not getting notifications because they haven't rung the bell. Off the hip question. Rowdy, tell me which content creator you are most like on YouTube. Lauren, go.
I'll have to go with the Hub because he does some skits, and I haven't done some skits in a while, but I used to, and just like goofy stuff like that. I think I got to go with the Hub.
OGR.
Man, it's tough.
Curveball. I threw a curveball in here.
You definitely.
Yeah, I felt like pressure to answer it fast.
I don't know. I was
like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna say you and not as entertaining, because I can flip out like you do, and I can definitely rebut like you do. Maybe not as well, but I'm gonna say you.
All right, that's an honor to me. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Awthentik.
I'll say entertainer and probably Kid Blue because of their takes on football and their passion for the Giants. Not that you guys don't have it, but their even keel kind of passion because I won't lose it quite like Bad Dog does sometimes.
Nobody
then again,
loses it quite like me, let's be honest.
right. But then again, entertainer was throwing his beers across the table on that Eagles game too.
Breaking beer bottles,
Yeah, so I'll say entertainer and I'll say Kid Blue. Just from that youthful perspective that Kid Blue brings, it reminds me of myself as a fan as well. For
me, you guys have any idea? You can think of somebody?
Nah.
Cop Hizzle. I think I am most like Cop Hizzle. Now we may go over different ends of the spectrum in the way we root for the Giants or talk about the Giants, but I always feel like Cop Hizzle is kind of like, I don't care what you think of me. I'm going to tell you my opinion, whether you like it or not. You don't like the way I represent the Giants. I don't care. I'm coming out here. I'm going to get in your face. I'm going to tell you what I think, and that's going to be the end of it. I feel like I'm the same way. I feel like, like I said, it may be opposite end of the spectrum. He's ultra positive. I can certainly be ultra negative and critical. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me. It's just like, you know what? I don't care. This is my opinion. You can like it. You cannot like it. That's okay. Not everybody's going to like what I have to say, and I can live with that. I'm human. We're not always going to agree. I'm fine with that. But I always think that Cop Hizzle and I are very, very similar with the way
everybody keeps saying EDP. Everybody keeps
EDP. Listen, I ain't flooding no toilets at Chipotle, so EDP and I, I mean, I rant like EDP. If there's anybody on YouTube that rants like I do, that can rant as well as I do, it's him. And he probably rants better than me. He's had some legendary rants. His rants on Nelson Aguilar were awesome. I'm like, yes. I don't like the Eagles, but I'm like, I feel that. I know that. That was me with Eli Apple. That was me with Eric Flowers. That was me with Daniel Jones. So I definitely know. But yeah, I think Cop Hizzle. I think Cop Hizzle and I are very, very similar. But without,
I think y'all the only two that are really, really like that too. Like y'all just really.
Thank God.
Say what's on your mind. You know what I mean? Like, and just keep it 100. That's fact.
Yeah, thank God there's only a couple of us. But then again, I came into YouTube about the same time. I mean, I've always given him credit. If it wasn't for Cop Hizzle, I would have never been on YouTube to begin with. I mean, I found this channel back in 2007, and I'm like, I got to do what he's doing. I got to come on here and talk about the Giants. I mean, it was brand new. Nobody did sports on YouTube. It was not. It was weird. I mean, they had rating systems. They didn't have thumbs up or thumbs downs. They had a star rating system that you rated videos on. One thing YouTube took away that I hate that they used to have back when I started was you could actually, there was a reply button. So you could reply to a video. If you hit that button, you record your video and it would get linked to that video.
I remember that.
I did. I missed that. That was a great tool that I think that they should implement again. I felt like that was really good. That way they would get your response, but maybe because, I don't know why they got rid of that. They get rid of a lot of things, but I really did like that. And then I took a 5-year hiatus. I was going through a lot. I was changing jobs. I bought a house. Just a lot of things are going on. I got away from YouTube. And then I started watching him again back in like 2013, maybe 2014, somewhere in there. And I was like, I gotta come back. Like he fires me up. Like I gotta come back and do this. And then, like I said, channel change directions because of the sports view. I was just like, I got sick and tired of having to talk crap to everybody. Like I got sick and tired of having to come on here and make fun of people and make fun of the I just wanted to talk football. You know what I mean? So I was like, I like what the sports read does. And I'm like, in calling a game, I've always wanted to be a play-by-play guy. I never will, but this is as close as I can get. People seem to enjoy it. I was like, I love this. To be able to watch a Lakers game or a Giants game or Yankees game with literally 3,000 people, that's awesome. And from all over the world. It is the coolest thing. I love this. And to be able to work with great content creators like you guys, it's really cool what we're able to do. And I love it, man. I think this is the coolest thing ever. I really do. I enjoy this so much. And, we're getting good again, man. We have a chance. To win this division. We have a chance to win this division. So I'm going to ask you guys about this division and what you think we're going to do the rest of the year. So I'm going to start with you, Awthentik. What do you think the Giants' record is for the next 6 games? Do you think we have a chance to win this division?
I definitely think we got a chance to win this division. Took a look at the Philadelphia Eagles schedule, and they got a 4-game stretch that is ridiculous. I want to say it's got the Seahawks in it, the Packers in it, the Saints in it. The Giants, to me, have 3 winnable games. I like to look at games as winnable games and then the kind of games that you're going to have to maybe shock a team or two here. And I see 3 more winnable games on the schedule for sure, which is the Bengals coming up out the bye. I think the Browns is a definite winnable game. And I think the last game at the end of the season against the Cowboys is definitely a winnable game, especially with them going back to Andy Dalton. I don't know what the hell they're thinking with the Gilbert kid playing pretty decent, I feel like, the week before. Going back to Andy Dalton, that offense just hasn't put up no numbers. So I look at those as 3 winnable games right there. And then you got the Cardinals, you got the Seahawks, and I want to say there might be one more game in there. But I felt like the Seahawks or the Cardinals are one of the teams that we're definitely going to have to shock. And I agree with the Hub. I was on his show last week talking about this, and he put out some content last week talking about it as well, saying that he thinks the Giants are going to go in and upset the Seahawks. I definitely think that's a team we can beat. They got the last-ranked pass defense in the league. Their rush defense has cleaned it up a little bit. I want to say they're top 10 now with their rush defense. But the Giants have found ways to move the ball, and I just feel like we're on the up and up. As far as trending teams right now, I don't think there is a team that's trending like New York Giants football. It might be because I'm a little bit too close, a little too macro to the situation. But, I just see a lot of good things for this team. I feel like Jason Garrett and Joe Judge have found a way to keep Daniel Jones clean. And also taking care of this football, man. So if it's going to be on Daniel Jones' shoulders because he's going to have to step up and make these plays. I mean, you've seen it this year. 6 games, this dude's been our leading rusher at quarterback, which is a little bit ridiculous. But he's going to have to do it in all ways, and he's going to have to just take care of that football. And if I had to bank on it today and make a bet on it today, I'd say the Giants are going to make it into the playoffs on that last game when we beat the Cowboys, and I think we'll just beat out the Philadelphia Eagles to get into the playoffs.
How sweet would it be to get into the playoffs beating Dallas, kind of like we did in 2011? Wouldn't that be wouldn't that be amazing to do? To knock them out too, like not to knock them out, but to beat them for the first time in 8 games as well. Let's get all these albatrosses around our neck off. OGR, what do you think about the second half of the season?
Second half of the season, I think everybody looks at Cleveland Bengals and the Dallas as the most winnable games. And if we want to be first, because we have to stay a step ahead of the Eagles. So their games, I think, are winnable are Washington, Dallas, and Cleveland. That puts them at 6-9-1. If the Giants want to take first in the division, they're going to have to be 7-9. So you're going to have to find a game in there, either Ravens, Cards, or the last team, Seattle, where you could take a game if you really want to go. I don't want to be rooting for them to lose 5 in a row pretty much here, which would have to be Cleveland and the rest of their schedule there. So I'm saying 6-10, but actually, you know what? You know what? Forget it. I predicted 7-9 beginning of the season. I'm going to stick with 7-9. Giants finish 7-9. They figure a way to get it.
Let's get it done. I love it, OGR. Lauren, what do you think about the second half of the season?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, I think the Seahawks game or the Ravens game are definitely winnable games. Like, I feel like I feel bad that I'm saying this now because, like, watch, I don't want to be like I said it and then they lose. Okay, whatever. I'm being like way too
bad about it. You know how many times
right now?
Like, I'm like,
I get way too nervous over these games. Like, I'm like, whatever. All right, but clearly. But I really do think the Seahawks game is winnable because that defense isn't good. Russell Wilson obviously is an MVP candidate, but he has thrown some interceptions. And, like, we know this defense has been playing better. I mean, I guess Bradbury would be faced off with Metcalf, and then Tyler Lockett, though, like, you know, that Tyler Lockett could have a really good game there. Like, I think they could win that game, though. Like, I think Daniel Jones could play a good game there. I think Wayne Gallman, you know, just keep doing his thing. Go Wayne train. And then the Ravens game too. Like, we saw the Patriots beat the Ravens the week after they almost lost to the Jets. Like, you know, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Let's run the table.
Just remember, we run the table. I love that. I would love to be able to do that. I was going to say, just remember, every team we've played, except for San Francisco, we've been competitive. Even the Steelers, who have not lost the game, we were better than them for 2.5 quarters. And we missed opportunities. I mean, we missed opportunities in that game. We could have been right there at the very end of that game. I definitely think after watching what happened to the Ravens in New England, and people are like, oh, the weather. I'm like, give me a break. The Patriots didn't play in that weather when they had the ball. The weather was 75 and sunny. No. Baltimore, a warm weather city that I know of. I mean, Awthentik, you're down in that area. Is Baltimore like Miami? Did I miss something here? No, you're playing bad weather too. Give me a break. Seattle, definitely beatable. There's no doubt in my mind that I don't think their defense is what it used to be. Russell Wilson always scares. I love Russell Wilson, man. That's one of my favorite players. I love that guy, and he's a Yankee, by the way, just in case anybody didn't know. He is actually part of the Yankees minor league team. Not that he ever plays, but he does play in spring training, and he swings from the heels every time. It's great to watch. I will say this, Tyler Lockett, actually a Big 12 receiver that actually kind of succeeded in the NFL out of K-State, so shout out to him. Nobody's mentioned the Cardinals, which I'm surprised. I mean, anybody that watch my channel know I'm a huge Kyler Murray fan. I love Kyler Murray.
Same.
Kyler Murray's my guy. I wanted Kyler Murray on the Giants. He scares me.
Big time.
DeAndre Hopkins scares me. Larry Fitzgerald scares me. They can run the ball. The defense is questionable, though. I can see if the Giants are going to beat the Cardinals, they're going to have to score 35 points. They're going to have to get in the 30s somehow. Yeah. They're going to have to figure it out. Awthentik, I completely agree with you. Winnable games, definitely the Bengals out of the bye should beat them. We're probably going to be favored in the game. I don't know what the line is. Giants, I would guess, if I'm guessing, probably +2.5, +3, somewhere in there. Definitely should be able to beat the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. We should have beat them with Dak Prescott. And what was the other game? Cleveland. I think that we can beat Cleveland. We have to get pressure on Baker Mayfield. They can run the ball. Their running game is very solid. But Baker is definitely prone to turnovers, and I love Baker too. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a Sooner guy. What can I tell you? But the running game scares me. I mean, our run defense had been good up till the Philly game.
I was going to say, man,
that
run defense was shaky.
Yeah, so
and you gotta thank Doug Peterson, man, for this victory against the Philadelphia Eagles, because Miles Sanders was torching us, man, and I don't know why they got away from the run. He was 15 for 85 or something like that, and I was seeing the stat that Miles Sanders has never had 20 carries in his whole career in one game.
That's crazy. That's crazy. But yeah, I think man. I mean, I'm high in the hog right now, so I don't want to be like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I mean, really, since we beat Washington, or did we lose to Philly? Ever since we lost to Philadelphia, and I hit rock bottom myself, or maybe it was Tampa Bay. I hit rock bottom myself. I've been trying to be very positive about everything I'm putting out here on YouTube, like everything, Joe Judge, Daniel Joe, whatever the hell it is. I'm trying to be positive. So I don't want to get too carried away. Like Lauren said, I don't want to be like, I think we can beat all these teams. I don't think we're going to win out.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that serious.
No. I know you were. I know you were.
I think they have a chance to go 4-2. But like, I'll say run the table.
No. I know what you're saying. I know you're not predicting. Yeah, no, I know you're not predicting that, Ida. But I definitely think 4-2 is feasible. I definitely think that we can go 4-2 and end up 7-9. I definitely think.
I saw Roldy in the chat, man, and he said, what if he said the Giants actually better not go out here and lay an egg after the bye. I think that'll really deflate us, if we can't beat the Bengals coming out of this bye.
Oh, that would be a terrible loss. But if McAdoo or Shermer was the head coach, I'd worry about it. I don't worry about it with Joe Judge. I feel like Joe Judge has an extra week to get these guys ready, much like Bill Belichick. He's not Doug Peterson, who's terrible off a bye, because I feel like Doug Peterson's lazy, and I feel like Doug Peterson is, for lack of a better word, stupid. I think he's a terrible head coach. I think he makes boneheaded decisions, goes for 4th down, it's not warranted. And what is the 2-point conversion when you're down 21-17? What is that?
I don't know, man. That was crazy.
That was a major turning point in that game, because I felt like the Giants kind of relaxed a little bit and said, now they need a touchdown to beat us. That was so huge. What the hell are you doing?
I don't know what he's thinking there. It's just a ridiculous play call. I don't know, man. And then they keep doing those 2-point conversions to Jalen Hurts.
But I do think the Bengals game is going to be like close. Like I'm not super confident heading. Like I'm not going to this Bengals game like, the Giants, they got this. Like Joe Burrow has been. I've watched a few Bengals games this year. Like Joe Burrow has been pretty good. T. Higgins.
Yeah, he's balling.
Yeah, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are two real, and they have AJ Green too. Still, obviously. So like
having a historically bad year for him. I mean, he
just doesn't. I saw
somebody say they read his lips last week and he said, "Trade me."
Yeah, that was like a few weeks ago, I think. But then he said he didn't say that. But I just feel like he and Burrow don't have like great chemistry.
Yeah,
Joe Mixon,
because he has really good chemistry with Boyd and Higgins.
Is Joe Mixon healthy for this game?
He's out.
He's out.
That's a big loss for them, because
he's out for the Giants game.
Not out for the Giants game. The game
he's out for.
No.
Okay,
I didn't know if he was going to be out for the Giants game, because that's a huge loss for them. I mean, Joe Mixon is again. I'm a Sooner guy. What can I tell you? Joe Mixon, though, he can do a lot. I mean, he's an all-purpose back. So
they're still running the ball well with Giovanni Bernard and Samaje.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah.
Samaje Perine, another Sooner. They just piled them up. They piled all those Sooners that they could get in there. But to me,
the one thing I wanted to add about the AJ Green thing real quick was he's got the lowest catch percentage in NFL history, I want to say. It was like 40%. And he's the second highest targeted person on that team.
Wow. That is insane. One thing I'll say about the Giants going forward, I think most of these quarterbacks are playing. You got to blitz. You got to put pressure on him. Kyler Murray is a guy, and I know this from watching him at Oklahoma and watching him in the NFL. You better go after him. Do not let that guy get outside the pocket. Joe, he is at his worst when you're putting pressure in his face. Go right after him because he's going to have a hard time seeing over the defense. You have to go right after that guy. Don't spy on it. He's too fast.
He can extend plays for like ever, it seems like. He just keeps plays alive forever. You
have to attack him. You have to attack him and make him make a split decision. Do not let that guy roll around in the pocket because then you're screwed. Then you're letting him dictate what's going on. Go after him hard. And I think they need to go after Joe Burrow hard. He's rookie. Baker Mayfield, same thing. These guys turn the ball over. Put pressure on them. Russell Wilson, that's how you might want to take it easy on because he's going to call out blitzes and he's going to tear you up. But a lot of these quarterbacks, I think the Giants need to bring all kinds of pressure to these guys and make them get rid of the ball because some of these guys, man, they can all move and they're all good if they got time in the pocket, especially Kyler. He scares the hell out of me because he's the most athletic quarterback that's out there.
Yeah, he's so
and
quick.
unlike Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray can actually throw accurately on the run. You know, his torque, his rotation with the hips is ridiculous outside of the ball. He's good. Kyler Murray's good.
He's
you
so
saw it
good.
on the Hail Mary. I mean, he turns his hips after he gets close to that sideline, lets that thing rip like a center fielder throwing it home.
Well, he is a center fielder.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it.
He did like the baseball hop almost. It was like
a little crow hop.
And it's just crazy how he like
it's
that play. He was just sprinting towards the sideline, and then it's like, okay, I'm just gonna throw a Hail Mary.
Right.
Like
To
the
his
body
weak
control
side,
and everything is insane.
It's great.
Kid's talented, man.
He is. The Hail Murray. That was pretty freaking.
Yeah, I like that. I haven't heard that one yet.
No, the Hail Murray. Yeah, I didn't make that up. I heard that somewhere, but I
saw he like trademarked or put in a trademark or a copyright for I think Magic Murray.
Oh, I like the nickname too. They would call
or Murray Magic,
magician or something, or
something like that. Yeah.
Oh, he's kind of biting off Fitz magic though, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Or maybe it wasn't that. It was some Murray
It had
thing.
magic in it, I thought.
I think, right? Yeah. Someone tweeted it out.
It should just be his nickname. Magic. Call him Copperfield. Why the hell not? We've been live for like an hour and 15 minutes. Again, I just want to thank all you guys and girls that are in the chat. We got almost 450 people in here still. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Again, if I missed it, anybody that's donated to the Salvation Army tonight, thank you so much. I really, really do appreciate that. Like I said, all donations tonight, there's no super chat. There's nothing. I'm not taking any of this. Any donations go directly to the Salvation Army. YouTube also does not take a cut 100% of your donations. Go to the Salvation Army. Thank you guys so much for all your donations. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys and girls go into the links, into the description. The links to all these great content creators are there. Make sure you click on those links, sub up their channels, ring that bell notification so you know when they go live or make a video. That way you're getting everything that they do, and you will not regret it. So these guys are all great. That's why I wanted to have them on tonight, and I feel like all of them are extremely underrated. I really do. I feel like they should have a bigger audience. So I hope you guys will help them out with that. And like I said, check them out and subscribe, watch their stuff. I'm going to start opening up to the chat. You guys got a question? Ask your questions. I'll pick them out, and then we'll ask the panel what they think. So we'll take questions for like the last half an hour of this stream and see what's going on. Hey, Bosch, have a great night, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Anyway, got time says not letting me donate. I was too high on love because Bad Dog, I love Notre Dame guys. Julian Love. I don't know if you were too high. I don't remember I know you like Claypool. I know that was your guy. You loved Claypool. Chair spin, one chair spin. What's up with Kevin Zeitler? Is he okay? I'm not sure what you mean.
I think he has a concussion.
Concussion. There you go. Okay. I totally missed that. Can Parrott start for us? Osama bin Swaggin says
not anytime soon because obviously he's come down with the 19.
Yep.
Yeah. He's been drinking too many Coronas. It seems like that's happened a lot. Graham Gano started it. Take the alcohol out of the Sonny Ant says, you think changes in the old line after the bye, after the Colombo firing? Awthentik, we'll start with you. You think any changes?
I don't think we'll get too much. I do think you'll still see a little bit of this rotation that's happening. I want to say Will Hernandez last game, he didn't even get in until the fourth quarter until Zeitler went down. So I don't know if that was because of the COVID thing or if they just thought Shane Lemieux was playing better. I don't know what that is. But I like what they're doing with the offensive line, and I think the secondary could lend from that a little bit too, just like building around depth because next man up kind of situation. I mean, you've even seen Cam Fleming playing pretty decent ball with this line. And I think that, Joe Judge is just getting them whipped into shape, and I think that had a lot to do with the firing. So I'm confident in this offensive line, whether they're doing a rotation or if they're, sticking it out with just a strict 5-man line.
Lauren, what do you think? Do you think they're going to make any changes to the O-line?
No, I don't think so.
I think, like you said, I think they might do a rotation. Like Hernandez came in because of the concussion. Like, I don't know if there was like a conditioning thing there, like if he needed more conditioning or something after he was sick. Like, I don't know how that works. Or if they thought, like you said, Lemieux was better, but I think I could see them rotating. I don't know who's going to start. Well, would Hernandez start next week? Is that what we think, or?
If it's back to normal, you would think he is, but I don't know. I mean, like Bad Dog said, it's like, is our line improving because of what Joe Judge did, or is Shane Lemieux just like balling out?
Yeah, I feel like you said, I feel like we're gonna see the rotation still.
OGR, what do you think?
Plain simple, 0 changes, and I think you just keep it the rotation, assuming Pert can play. You might not see many in the rotation if Pert can play. Pert can't play, so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think the offensive line is finally starting to gel. And I think that the rotation has to do with Joe Judge. I really do. I think that's his baby. And I think that that's keeping the line fresh. And I think that's why you saw the offense, although against Washington, it kind of stalled out a little bit. But against Philadelphia, it seemed like the offensive line was very good in the fourth quarter. We were able to run the ball a lot, which certainly helped, and actually control the clock, which certainly helps. So I think the same thing. I think they're going to continue the rotation, but I don't think you're going to see any new starters in there. I honestly think, well, if Zeitler doesn't play, maybe Hernandez plays over there. But if Zeitler is able to play, I think you're going to see the same starting line that you've seen the last couple of weeks for sure, because it's worked. Jordan Braun says, would you extend Leonard Williams? OGR, we'll start with you this time.
Beginning of the year, no, absolutely. You have to this year, no doubt in my mind.
How much would you give him?
How much would I give him? I'd like to sign him for the same amount we're paying him now, over maybe a 3 or 4 deal.
All right. Lauren, what do you think? Extend Leo, let him walk?
Yeah, definitely extend him. I mean, he's having like a career year, so you definitely got to extend him.
Awthentik.
Yeah, I agree. I've been saying that, man. You definitely got to extend him. I've noticed this since like week 1, week 2. I mean, even dating back to last season, dude's been balling out. He makes that whole unit better, and I think he's the one guy that you can like look at as the leader of that defensive line. So I mean, at all costs, bring him back.
Let me ask you this to kind of go off of that question. We'll start with you, Lauren. How much of that do you think is Patrick Graham's influence on the defense? Because Leonard Williams was a bust with the Jets, and he was pretty good in the run game for us last year, but no sacks. But you guys said he has like 5.5, 6 sacks, and we've seen him get tons of pressures on the quarterback. How much do you think that's Leonard Williams, and how much do you think that's Patrick Graham? Because this is his first year under the system, and this is the best we've ever seen him play in his career.
Well, wasn't the whole thing with Leonard Williams when he was on the Jets, like he was getting very close to sacking the quarterback, but he wasn't getting his sacks. But Patrick Graham, like I said this in another video, you have to give him so much credit for what he's doing with this defense. So I think it's just a great match, and they're both, I guess, helping each other. It's a great match, and it's obviously working out.
OGR, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with Lauren. It's just a match made in heaven, I guess, because you look at what he did with the Jets, didn't live up to the high billing as a draft pick. And then all of a sudden it clicks. And sometimes when a player, look at what Blake Martinez and Patrick Graham, just sometimes coaches see how to implement a person in their scheme and it clicks. And that's what I think it's happened with Leo Williams. The talents come together, and maybe he's just a late developing player. It could be.
Yeah, we all know Honey Hamhead Betcher didn't know what the hell he was doing out there. He had no.
Oh, hell no.
Well, yeah, so.
I hated him
Authentik,
more than any other coach on the Giants.
Authentik, what do you think? How much do you think Leonard Williams' success has to do with Patrick Graham?
I'd agree with OGR and Lauren on this one too. I mean, I think since day one I've seen Leonard Williams as a disruptor. And playing from the interior like that, it's really hard to be a guy who gets, a lot of sacks like that. And Lauren mentioned it with the Jets. He was getting really close. I remember when we traded for him, they were talking about PFF, said he was one of the highest graded defensive linemen. I just like what he does. He's a great run stopper, physical guy. I mean, yeah, he's the kind of guy. I played quarterback in high school, man, and like he's the kind of guy you see him on the line and you're like, man, you got to keep an eye on him at all times. You don't want him come roughing you up. So yeah, I'd say it's about I'd say it's 60-40. I'll give it 60 to Leonard Williams, 40% to Patrick Graham because Patrick Graham has been excellent.
Someone said Leonard Williams is an All-Pro with the Jets. I don't remember him being an All-Pro with the Jets. When was he an All-Pro with the Jets?
I think he made one Pro Bowl with the Jets.
A Pro Bowl,
Yeah.
but somebody said All-Pro. All-Pro is like you're the best of your position. I don't remember it. Pro Bowl, yes. I mean, listen, if enough players decide to opt out or play in the Super Bowl, I can make the Pro Bowl. I mean, I don't really consider the Pro Bowl I mean, it's good, but at the same time, it's All-Pro is what you want. If you're an All-Pro, you are nasty. Like, you're the best of your position. I mean, James Frederick.
No. If you were going to make All-Pro, what position?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be a safety. There ain't no doubt. Yeah. Although I've lost a lot of weight, so I don't know if I could.
Are you going to be a box safety or a free safety?
I don't think I can be a safety anymore. I'm only 185 pounds now. Well, back in the
we'll
day, I was like 30 pounds heavier. I might be able to be a safety. I think right now I'd have to be maybe a halfback. I think I'm 6 foot 185. I don't run like I used to. I tell you guys, I'm dead ass serious. I used to be able to fly. I was a sprinter. I could fly. I still think I could outrun Tom Brady. I don't.
Oh yeah, I got money on Bad Dog on that one.
I can outrun any of those guys. I ain't outrunning Daniel Jones though.
Daniel can fly.
No. Danny Dimes can fly.
He can fly.
Although you'd be the best trash talker in the field, I'll tell you what.
I certainly can talk trash to those guys until one of those defensive linemen lit my ass up and buried me 6 feet deep and carried me off on a stretcher. It'd be fun while it lasted. I'd make it about one play. And at my age, I'd probably pull a hamstring when I made my first cut and say, the hell with this. Let's continue to take some questions from the chat. That was a good question about Leonard Williams. Yeah. So if you guys got questions, again, ask them up. I am washed up, Fabian. I'm Brady's my age. Brady's a little younger than me, but yeah, man, I'm almost 45. It's we're not as young as we used to be. My mind thinks so sometimes. And your mind can get you into trouble. That is for sure. Mike McCarthy's in the chat. I see that. It's always good. All right, here's a good one from Amiri. Again, I think this has a lot to do with what we do in free agency. But Authentik, we'll start with you. What position do you want to address in the first round of the draft?
I'm a little split on this one. My heart wants to say wide receiver because I just feel like we need another weapon for Daniel Jones. But it's like the kind of wide receiver that we're going to need for New York is going to have to be a solid number one guy, We can't afford to draft another, number 3, number 4 kind of wide receiver. We need a guy who's going to come in and make a splash impact. So I'd say, and I was going to say to play it safe, draft a cornerback. But y'all know how that has gone for New York in the past. But so I'll remove the play it safe part. But I will say we need a cornerback, man. That weak side cornerback has been an issue. And I feel like if we could win games on the back of our defense, it's going to make everybody look better. It'll make everybody on offense look better, and they could maybe find a way to address wide receiver in free agency and bring in somebody.
You a certain guy? That your guy? You another cornerback that you like?
Like I said, man, I don't watch a lot of college ball, so at this moment, Surtain's high on the boards. But I got to dig in and do a lot of scouting, and I'll probably wait till the Giants are either knocked out or
I got you. Yeah, I pretty much we started 0-4 or whatever. I pretty much started that. And I'm like, sorry, Lauren, what do you think? What position do you want to address in the first round?
Yeah, so I kind of want to say wide receiver too, even though I'm like, I don't know, do you draft a wide receiver we don't know where the Giants are drafting. Like, how high do you draft a wide receiver in the first round?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, if we win the division, we're drafting.
Well, right now we're 8th.
Let's just say we're drafting 8th.
Could Jamar Chase be there at 8?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
And is that a reach?
No.
I don't know, because I was kind of in that mindset, how high do you draft a wide receiver, blah 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 blah. But I just think he'd be a total game changer. Like, to be honest, that whole offense would change.
It would.
I saw him going, I think, as high as like 3 in one mock draft.
Yeah, he's the real deal. I mean, Jamar Chase can play. There's no doubt. That's a big reason Joe Burrow was as good as he was last year. Jamar Chase can get it. There's no doubt about that. OGR, I might know, but knowing the team that you follow, but go ahead and tell us.
All right, so I'll give you guys 3 names: Gregory Rousseau, Micah Parsons, and Pat Freiermuth. And the only reason I keep saying Pat Freiermuth because as you get down toward the teens and 20s, where I think the Giants will be, you see a lot of good tight ends taken there. And a lot of people might sit there and say, no, OGR, we need defense. And I agree. But he's the best tight end in the country. I'm telling you right now, he reminds me a lot of TJ Hawkinson, maybe not as good as blocker out of Iowa, but he does wonders with the thing. And a consistent tight end for Daniel Jones would do him wonders. If we're drafting
the guy they call Baby Gronk.
Yes. And but optimally, if we're drafting toward the top of the draft, I would like Awthentik said, second corner position or pass rusher. And that's why I'm saying Gregory Rousseau, because he is the best pass rusher. But we all know I want Micah Parsons. Plain and simple. Dude's an animal.
I figured, being a Penn State guy. So since you're a Big Ten guy, what do you think of Rashad Bateman? That's a name I heard a lot out of Minnesota. I don't watch a ton of Minnesota football. I mean, I watched a couple games last year, but I really wasn't paying attention to Bateman. He's a big guy. I think he's 6'4". I mean, you probably know more about him than I do. So do you have any thoughts on him?
Honestly, I was introduced to him last year because he killed the Penn State Nittany Lions last year. But,
right.
Big possession guy goes up there and gets it.
Okay. Good
route runner, by the way.
It does
actually remind me a lot of Allen Robinson, another Penn State product.
Well, that's a guy that a lot of Giants fans have talked about getting in free agency is Allen Robinson. Again, a 6'4" wide receiver, which I think was honestly, I would love to draft Jamar Chase. That'd be awesome. If I have to do it, I'd rather spend the money on the defensive end and draft the wide receiver as opposed to drafting the defensive end and signing the wide receiver. But Allen Robinson's definitely a guy I can see the Giants making a run at. Getting Daniel Jones a big target, especially in the red zone, outside of Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram's only 6'2", so it's not like he's a tall guy. But if we could get that, 6'4".
Don't forget about Kenny Galladay, because there is a guy.
I think Galladay's going to go back with Detroit for some reason. But I mean, same thing. And both Galladay and Allen Robinson are there. I would love to have either one of them.
Isn't Juju a free agent?
He is, but I wouldn't mind him either. It's just he's a little smaller. I would love a tall guy. Like Plaxico Burress changed Eli Manning's career. And Plaxico Burress was really good those few years he was here. Mm-hmm. I just think having a guy like OGR said, a Galladay or an Allen Robinson makes such a difference for Daniel Jones to have a target where he could just throw up one of those 50-50 balls. Even though I hate that fade pattern in the end zone. I can't stand that.
Oh man, in the red zone, it's the worst. I hate it.
I hate the fade pattern from the 3-yard line. I'm just like, what is this? Stop. Yeah. Why are you throwing 50-50 balls from the 3-yard line? Run the ball in the end zone. But it'd be nice to have that guy that, is a big target, could go across the middle of the field on 3rd down and 12 and get you a catch by jumping up in the air. It'd be nice to have that guy.
Don't forget Hakeem Nicks was kind of that too for a while for us.
That was like one of my favorite players.
Hakeem Nicks could take the little short, skinny post and just go straight to the house. He had those big hands, man. You could definitely throw him up those 50-50 balls. He could definitely get those. I like.
And it's so funny. I wasn't comfortable with the draft even out of North Carolina. I was always 50-50 on Hakeem Nicks, but
that was a weird one because he was mid first round, right? I want to say he was mid first round.
He was mid first round. Yeah, Nicks played bigger than he was. I don't think he was like. I think it was like 6'2". I can say this, and I mentioned this the last time I live streamed because I don't live too far from Albany. And the Giants practiced here from 96 to 2012. And, I saw Hakeem Nicks and shook his hand, and I have big hands, okay? But I swear, like when he shook my hand, he was grabbing my wrist. Didn't do that.
That was Odell, too.
Life. What's that?
Odell, too. Like when I met Odell,
I
was like, whoa.
He was down.
It's funny you say Hakeem Nicks played, he played like a bigger wide receiver because when you said Allen Robinson and you said he was 6'4", I had no idea because I feel like he doesn't play like those like one-on-one big wide receivers. And I think the perfect example of the smaller guys playing bigger is DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, the dude, for a while, I thought he was like 6'4", and finally went to look him up. I was like, whoa, this dude's actually kind of short, but he just goes up and gets the ball easy.
How tall is he?
I think he's like 6 foot.
Yeah. The guys that can high point the ball are huge. They
Yeah.
kind of leap. I mean, that's that's amazing. But it'd be nice to have a 6'4" receiver. There's
Definitely.
no doubt about that. Hey, let me ask you guys this question. We'll start with you, Awthentik, on this one. Are you worried that one of our coordinators are going to leave after this year? I'm talking about offensive, defensive. Are you worried that Jason Garrett or Patrick Graham may leave the Giants after this year and get a head coaching job someplace?
To get a head coaching job. I don't think so, because I think that like they kind of want to finish what they started here. This is just the beginning of a rebuild. And I think all of these offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, they'll have higher stock if they wait it out a little bit and you can see some more improvement from the Giants. I think Eric Bieniemy is probably a good example of that, being an offensive coordinator over there in Kansas City, who kind of everyone thought he was going to get that job last year and didn't get the right opportunity, I guess, and waited it out. So I see Jason Garrett here unless something crazy goes down. And Patrick Graham, I definitely see Patrick Graham coming back here. He's got to finish out this defense, and I'd love to see both of them get a draft.
I tell you what, I think Eric Bieniemy is going to end up with the Jets. I have that feeling they're going to get Trevor Lawrence and they're going to get Eric Bieniemy. I think that would actually be smart for the Jets. It'd be the
awesome
thing the Jets have done in my lifetime. That goes back to 1983 when they didn't draft Dan Marino. So, I mean, we're talking a long time. The Jets stink. It's just, by the way, any Jets fans in here, I will accept your apology. You can tell me I was right about Sam Darnold stinking. Thank you. Lauren, what, and Jets fans, I kid because I care. I don't mind the Jets. Lauren, what do you think? Are you worried that Patrick Graham or Jason Garrett could leave for greener pastures?
Honestly, I didn't start thinking about that till right now. It didn't even cross my mind.
We're here for
I don't know why. I was just too concerned about like the wins and losses, I guess. But no, I don't think right now I am. Maybe next year, but I would say Jason Garrett is probably more likely to leave, but I don't think he will.
Well, then you made a great point, by the way, of hanging around and letting their stock. If the Giants do, even if we win the division at like 6-10 or 7-9, but then next year they come out and they're 10-6 or 11-5, and they're much better on both sides of the ball, then obviously they show that they've turned the team around real quick, and their stock would explode. Obviously, OGR, what do you think?
I'm going to say no for a different reason, because I'm just thinking around the league, guys, teams that are going to need a new head coach. Obviously, Jets is going to be one. Obviously, Atlanta is going to be two. But I don't see a lot more positions opening up around the league. I mean, last year there was a lot of positions filled.
What about Detroit? You think they hang on to Patricia?
I think they hang on to Patricia because I think they finished 500, to be honest with you. So I don't see a lot of people moving. So that's why I say no. But if you get another 7-8 jobs that open up like they did last year, there's a chance the team takes a flyer on Jason Garrett.
Okay. Yeah, I started to get again. I'm not overly concerned about it. I do think that they'll hang out here for another year. At least I would hope so. So like I said, after 2 years, I think maybe like Lauren said, after next year it might be. Again, if we're a much better team and we're actually like a winning team, a 10-6 team, and you see this offense really starting to gel, especially when Saquon Barkley gets back, and if this line continues to play, it actually opens holes for Saquon Barkley, and he doesn't. I'm going to say this about Saquon Barkley. I'm going to get killed about this too, and that's okay. I don't mind. I got broad shoulders piling on. There's a possibility if the Giants got the right offer, they could trade Saquon, and I would not have a problem with it. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not paying Saquon Barkley $20 million a year. I'm not doing it. Right now, I don't care how talented he is. He can't stay on the field. We don't know he's going to be back coming from this ACL. And unfortunately, Wayne Gallman's proving you do not need to be Saquon Barkley to run the ball effectively. That's my biggest concern is Saquon Barkley's rookie contract is almost up.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to make a decision. Are you giving Saquon Barkley $19, $23 million, whatever the running backs are getting these days? Do you want to give Saquon Barkley 4 years, $92 million, or 4 years, $80 million? I don't at this point. I don't know if I trust him. So if the Giants got the right offer, I'm not adverse to moving him. But
Bad Dog, let me put the kibosh on this. I'm Saquon's biggest fan, and I agree with you. Okay, I followed him since his freshman year at Penn State. I watch him destroy Buffalo. Now, obviously, they're not a high power, but that's where he really made his mark in that game, hurdling guys. You're right. Period.
Because what worries me about Barkley is he dances too much. Like if Barkley just hit the hole, fine. Like even when the Giants, the holes don't stay open in the NFL like they do in college. You don't have a chance to really sit there and pick and choose. You have to go. That's an instinctual problem. I would love Barkley to run more like Gallman, where you're straight ahead. Because if Barkley hits the hole, then God only knows. Yeah, then it's who knows what he could do. He could be the most exciting player in the league. But no matter how big the hole is, if he's trying to make everything a home run, that's when you start losing your 4 yards. Like that was always my biggest criticism. And I love Barkley. I mean, I got the Color Rush Barkley jersey. This is the only Color Rush jersey I own. I freaking love Saquon Barkley. Love Saquon Barkley. But that dancing around worries me a little bit. And I don't like that. I feel like sometimes he tries to make every single thing a touchdown. You cannot do that. You gotta just I've said it a bunch of times, just put your shoulders down and get the 2 yards. Just put your pads down and get the 2 yards. 2nd and 8 is better than 2nd and 13. Just give me those 2 yards.
Which I think seeing this team play this style, that we've been playing the last couple games, it could help and it could benefit Saquon Barkley. I mean, we can't forget those offensive lines he was running behind. I mean, those were awful offensive lines. They were terrible. And I think he kind of is suffering from the same thing Daniel Jones was suffering from, which is trying to make that home run play all the time. I'd like to see the Giants bring Saquon Barkley back, but in a different fashion. Kind of like what Washington was doing with Chris Thompson for a while. He was like a third down back who got occasional first down carries. But I think that Wayne Gallman could be our guy who's the first down back, try to get the positive yards. And then you bring a guy in like Saquon to run some RPOs, run some screens, and also run some of those, up-the-gut runs as well. Because when Saquon hits the hole, you've seen it. In his rookie year, you saw him hit that hole, and then he'll shake a linebacker out of his shoes and be off to the races. You're right. He's got to be more consistent with hitting those holes. And I think building this offensive line could change that. But the biggest problem is the money, is how much money Saquon's going to want. I think Saquon's going to want to be a Giant. I mean, from what I remember, I thought he came up as a Giants fan as a kid, too.
Mm-hmm. He came up as a Jets fan, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. His father was a Jets fan. Yeah.
Boy, poor Saquon. But Awthentik, so you talking about third down back. I can tell you, best running back in the history of the New York Giants started out as a third down back, and that's Tiki Barber.
Yep,
Tiki Barber was a third down back for 3 years.
For some reason, I thought Dave Meggett. I don't know why.
Dave Meggett was third down too. Mm-hmm.
He was, but Tiki became Tiki's a Hall of Famer. I don't care what he said about Eli. Obviously, that was ill-suited, but the man averaged 4.7 yards a carry in his career. The last 2 seasons combined, he had over 3,500 yards rushing. The guy was the best running back in the league when he retired. He has over 10,000 yards and he started for 7 years. It is ridiculous, and I say this, and I mean this. He was better than Emmitt Smith. Don't care what anybody tells me. Tiki Barber is better than Emmitt Smith. Not close. Not close.
I'm with you.
Not close.
Yeah, but I'm definitely with you. Especially what he could do in the passing game. I mean, Tiki was a monster on them screens. He was a monster.
Yeah.
Barry was 10 times the back Emmitt Smith was.
Barry was crazy too.
Yeah, Barry was the GOAT. Barry was the GOAT.
With no O-line.
Let me ask you this. We'll do this. OGR, who's the best running back in the history of the NFL?
Barry Sanders Jr.
Okay. Lauren.
Oh, no, sorry. Barry Sanders. Sorry. I said Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders.
Lauren, who's the best running back in the history of the NFL?
Yeah, I got to go with Barry, too.
Awthentik.
Today, I'm going to say Bo Jackson. Today.
Bo.
I'm going to say Bo for today. Yeah. I got to take a guy whose career was cut short, and I'm using the eye test with that. I'm going to go Bo.
Bo was listen, I was, like 12, 13 years old when it was Bo knows everything. Like I remember Bo Jackson was a huge deal. But yeah, I got to go Barry. I've never seen anybody like Barry.
Where does Walter Payton rank for you? Just curious.
Second,
because Walter Payton might have been my first two.
Second. And again, I think it's generational. I say this all the time. I think whoever you grew up with is who you're going to say. I mean, like we got all the younger guys think LeBron's the best. I will always say Jordan. I grew up the Jordan era. It's always going to be Jordan. The guys that grew up with Kobe are going to say Kobe. Guys growing up now are going to say LeBron, and I get that. Guys before me are going to say, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Guys before them may say Wilt Chamberlain. I get it. Best quarterback of all time, Awthentik.
I'm going to go Peyton Manning.
All right.
I'm going to go Peyton Manning.
Lauren, best quarterback ever.
I got to go Brady.
OGR.
I'm so disappointed, Lauren.
Sorry. That's why I like smiled when you asked. I was like, well,
If the bedroom door wasn't closed right now, I'd go in and I'd bring out my Peyton Manning jersey. But I have to say Brady.
Yeah. Authentic. I'm going to disappoint you. It's Brady. Brady's.
I can't go with Brady, man. I just can't.
Brady.
You want to know why? And I'm going to go back to it as I've been all day, man. For me, it's that eye test, man, that Brady he made some spectacular plays, man, but he was so slow, man, and he never had the real skill set that I thought to be the best quarterback ever. But when it came down to it to win those games, he definitely won those games, except those games against the Giants. So I mean, he's up there. He's up there for me. But I've always been a doubter. I might even go Montana before I go Brady, and I'd have Peyton at the top.
Yeah, guys always like the Montana Brady one and that was always my favorite. They would tell me that Brady's a system quarterback. I said, what do you think Montana was? The whole West Coast offense is built around Joe Montana. And I say this all the time too. Every successful quarterback should be a system quarterback. That is your coach's job. You build the system around your quarterback's strengths. Why would you make a quarterback try to do things that he's not good at? That's just a recipe for failure. Just look at Sam Darnold. Well, Sam Darnold stinks. It's a bad example. He's going to stink no matter where he ends up. But if you put Pat Mahomes in a different system, Pat Mahomes may be still great, but not like he is with Andy Reid. Like that just works.
That's true.
You know
and Bill Walsh was a master.
He was.
Master with that offense.
Yeah,
Bad Dog, your favorite hit on Joe Montana?
Oh, Leonard Marshall, baby. I mean, that's the best hit ever in the history of football. Although Jim Burt knocked his ass out too. That was really.
You like that one more than you like the Lawrence Taylor on Joe Theismann?
Well, yeah, I don't like to see
gruesome.
Theismann get his ankle. Just watching Leonard Marshall kill. It's great.
Yeah.
After this year's watch, as a Giants fan, watching the way we've knocked out two QBs, that's disgusting.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Dak one was just. Ugh.
Like both of them, I couldn't. I didn't even believe what I saw at first. I was like, no, what? I was like,
yeah, terrible.
I just turned away from the TV.
Best wide receiver ever, Lauren.
I'm
not going to say defense because we all know who that is. That's not. I'm not going to.
I'll go. Do I go with Jerry Rice?
Yes.
I'll go with Jerry Rice.
You can pick your second, but Rice is first.
Yeah. Authentic.
No, I'll go with Jerry Rice.
I'm gonna keep it funky, man. I'm gonna go Randy Moss, man. I just think the way he changed the game was just real crazy, and I think it goes to what Bad Dog was saying about rooting for them players in your era. I only caught probably the last 5 years of Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I saw most of it because again, I saw all of it actually because I'm old. But I will say this: I think Rice is the greatest ever because Rice has every freaking conceivable receiving record still to this day, and it was not a passing league in 1989 or 1987 when he scored. This is the other thing. He scored 22 touchdowns in 1987. Randy Moss broke that record in 2007. Jerry Rice played 12 games that year because it was 3 games with replacement players. So there's always an asterisk next to Randy Moss's touchdown record. 22 touchdowns in 1987 in 12 games is ridiculous.
Yeah,
but to your point, Authentic, I've never in my life seen a receiver the talent of Randy Moss. Not close. If Randy Moss worked as hard as Jerry Rice, I can't even imagine.
And Jerry Rice was a way harder worker, man. They talked about where did he go to college at? It was like a small
Mississippi Valley State, Mississippi
right?
Valley.
And I remember them showing some tape on him when he was entering the draft, and it was like work ethic was Kobe, Mamba mentality. Whereas Randy Moss was Randy Moss almost played lazy, he ran down the field lazy. And was like, all right, I'm gonna get the catch anyway, though. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, and I cannot remember. I don't remember the guy's YouTube channel. This was probably maybe 5-6 years ago. There was somebody that used to mix sound bites of their press conferences, and he put a mix together and had a highlight package of Randy Moss. God, maybe if you type in maybe like Randy Moss highlight mix or something, there is one catch that he makes where he's just, I think it's against the Jets. He's just running down the field and he's open, but the ball's overthrown. And he just sticks one hand out there, sucks the right hand. Goes to the end zone. I'm like, it's just so stupid how good Randy Moss was. Yeah, he was crazy.
Talented wise, yes, I give it to Randy Moss. I guess maybe I should say this. This is a better question. Who's the third best receiver of all time?
I'd probably go T.O.
Okay, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else could be up in there. Tim Brown.
Tim Brown, very underrated.
Yeah,
Very
Tim Brown was a bit underrated.
Where did he go to school?
I'm going to say Oklahoma.
No, he didn't go to school in Oklahoma. I don't know. I mean, I think he was a
right.
Notre Dame. I think he was a Notre Dame guy, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I thought he went to Notre Dame.
You might be right on that.
Actually, somebody said it in the chat. I was going to go Megatron.
Megatron was fire. Retired early. He was really good.
Actually, what school did Megatron go to?
Penn State.
Michigan State.
Michigan
You
State. Oh. Who's third, Lauren?
Yeah, I know. I kind of agree with Megatron. I see some people saying Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, I love Fitzgerald. Like, who doesn't like Larry Fitzgerald though?
Yeah.
Like, just
You
like
like football, you love Fitz.
yeah, just like who doesn't like him?
Fitz is like the Tim Duncan of the NFL. You know, it's like very fundamental. It wasn't super flashy. I think that's why he's a little underrated too.
Yeah, I would have to go T.O. myself.
Oh no, sorry, you're right. I'm right. They said Georgia State. I'm thinking of somebody else. Michigan State. My fault.
Oh, for
Megatron.
Megatron.
Right.
Alvin Johnson. I would have to go T.O.
Missing?
I think T.O. was third, but I'll tell you, I remember I got in a thing with Fisk, who I never agree with. I love Fisk, but I never agree with. We were talking about top 5, and I told him, I said, Lance Allworth is in your top 5. He's like, you're crazy. I said, look at Lance Allworth's numbers. Lance Allworth, way ahead of his time. Dude was having over 1,000 yards every year and 10 touchdowns back in the 60s. That didn't happen. Lance Allworth was one of the greatest receivers of all. Nobody knows about him because he played back in the AFL days, but my God, Lance Allworth, look at that guy if you don't know anything about him. I swear he's a top 5 receiver ever. But listen, guys, it's been an hour and 45 minutes. I don't want to hold you guys up all night. I know you probably want to go to sleep. Whatever you guys got to do, I don't want to keep you here. I want to say, because I mean, I could talk all night. I love talking Giants, talking football. I mean, I can keep you guys here till 2:00. I don't want to do that. That's for me to do, and I do my own live streams by myself is to have insomnia. I want to thank each and every one of you guys and lady for coming on here tonight. Really enjoyed it. Lauren, it was a pleasure to get to work with you for the first time.
Yeah, definitely.
Do it again, no doubt. Authentic, obviously an honor to work with you. You know a lot. You're great. I mean, you've got a lot of knowledge for sure. And I love hearing your takes on football. It's a lot of, I learn a lot from listening to you. So I really like what you do. And OGR, you're the man. I don't know what else to say. I love you, buddy. I mean, I got to meet you at the game last year. It was awesome. I hope that we get to do that again. I mean, we plan on doing that this year.
I can't wait till we all get to tailgate.
Yeah.
It's going to be
we can do that and have a big blowout. Next year we have to pick a game. We got to do it. We got to do it.
Definitely.
For no doubt.
I was really hoping it was going to be the Cleveland game this year, man.
Yeah, I know. It was awesome. So again, I really want to thank you three. You guys do such amazing jobs in your channel. And again, if you guys and girls in the chat have not done so, do me a favor. Make sure you go into the description, a link to all 3 of these great content creators. The channels are there. Make sure you subscribe to them. When you subscribe, make sure you ring the bell so you know when they've made a video or they go live. That way, YouTube actually lets you know, hopefully. But you got a better chance. If you don't ring the bell, you're not going to know at all. And again, anybody that donated tonight, all proceeds went to the Salvation Army. I really, really, really appreciate anybody that did that. Thank you so much. I know I wasn't able to shout all those out because I was talking, but I like to put a little disclaimer, in the chat now and again. But thank you so much, anybody that donated. It really means a lot to me to be able to donate to charity, to be able to use this format to do some good for some less fortunate people. So thank you so much for everything you guys do for my channel, and thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Really do appreciate it. Again, enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'll let you guys say goodnight. OGR, start with you. We'll go around the horn. OGR.
Well, obviously, thanks to the best voice on YouTube and Authentik coming on here. Obviously, it was great working with Lauren again. I do appreciate it. Don't try and kick my ass in fantasy too bad next time, Lauren. But I think we're done for the season now. If I do, I'll see you in the playoffs. And obviously, thank you to Bad Dog, and thank you for everybody in the chat, and thank you for getting me guys to 1K. I really didn't think it was going to happen tonight, so I'm a little bit shocked by it, but I do appreciate it. Thank you again, guys.
I told you in the text today. I said we're getting you there tonight.
Well, you were right.
Thank you guys for getting there. It was awesome. Lauren, what do you got to say?
Well, first off, congrats OGR on 1,000 subs. That's awesome. And yeah, this was just a super, super fun night with all you guys. Let's just enjoy the win for another week because this is like kind of what it's like. Just hear me out. Winning the Super Bowl, it's like 2 straight weeks of enjoying a win. Like usually it's only 1 week, so it's like you get like 2 weeks now, so you really get to feel every single day. It'd be really bad if they lost.
We beat the Eagles.
It's like a mid Super Bowl type thing for that hasn't done well the past few years. But just good vibes, all that. Just really enjoyed working with all you guys. Hope we do it again.
Yes, we will. No doubt about it. Authentic.
Yo, man, Bad Dog, this is long overdue for me, man. Thank you for having me on the podcast today, man, sharing your platform. That's awesome, especially with 2 other super dope Giants content creators. I've already subscribed to these and checked out their videos. Really dope. And I just want to say, man, like the Giants community here on YouTube, man, is really amazing, man. Like being here in Washington, D.C., man, it's like me and just one other homie who are Giants fans. Steady just battling with these Washington football team fans all the time.
What are you battling for? We kill them.
We do kill them. This is facts. This is facts. But, I'm going to tell you how it is out here in D.C., man. Not only are you battling the Washington fans, but you're battling a rack of Cowboys fans, too. And Washington fans, every year, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl, and you got to deal with that. And I actually live with one of them, so I got to deal with that part of it, too. But it's awesome to just be able to have people that you can see eye to eye with and actually get to talk some real Giants football from a fan perspective, man, online. And just kind of like building this community up. That's kind of like a family. I'm glad to be a part of it, man. And again, man, I just appreciate you for having me on the channel, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure having all 3 of you. And like I said, continue the great work on your channels. I'll be watching. And I'll just say this real quick. You guys in the chat, you get a video from me tomorrow. I got some stuff to say about this whole Joe Judge situation. I don't usually do videos on Saturday, but I'm going to make an exception because I got a lot to get off my chest when it comes to this Joe Judge situation. So I hope you guys will tune in for that. But again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Really, really appreciate it. This was awesome. And enjoy the rest of your Friday. Enjoy your Saturday, people. And we'll see you next time. For OGR, She Got Sports and Authentic. It's the Bad Diggity Dizzle, and we are gone.